Good morning, Raptor freaks. Lexi out here, and I'm way early. I want to get in the spot real early because I don't want to get caught off guard by a back-to-back that we got to deal with today. And there's a lot to talk about on this channel today because I'm reacting to two games yesterday. The Raptors getting the double victory against the Hawks in both levels. And we've got to play Nick Nurse and the 76ers tonight. So there's a lot of ground to cover. I hope y'all are ready. I'm going to do the preview first, and then we'll react to the games after that. And when I react, the phone lines are open if you want to call. But right now, let me get through the first half hour of the show with the ref report and the latest lineup news for the Sixers. Tonight in Philadelphia, the Raptors did the Comcast commute from Atlanta to Philadelphia last night. And, that's not as bad a trip as people think. Hopefully they could get some rest, and they'll be in good shape for a game against the Sixers tonight, who have not played since Wednesday. So they're not coming off a back-to-back. In fact, they're starting a back-to-back. We're the first night of a back-to-back for them. They will play tomorrow also. Then we're off after tonight, and we will not play again until, I think, Tuesday. So we get 2 days off after this back-to-back. So it's weird because it always seems like they put Philly in a back-to-back situation with us. Like, that's one of the fishy things about the schedule is quite often the Sixers game will be the second night of a back-to-back or the first night of a back-to-back. It's always that case. Well, we want to get 5 wins in a row. We got to win tonight. We're above 500 right now. We're 5-4 team. And, well, we want to keep going in that direction. In some ways, the Sixers is the same record right around as us. And Sixers are somewhere in the Atlantic Division right around us. We want to get above them. Will we beat them tonight? Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know how good they are. In some ways, I haven't watched any clips on them. I've seen that Joel has played a lot of their games so far this year. And they've been, somewhat this or that. They came out of the gates real well, actually. They won like their first 4 games and were 4-0. And they've lost 3 out of their last 4 games. So they're now like 5-3 or something like that. So we need to beat the Sixers tonight because they've kind of been on a little bit of a losing skid in the last little while. Of course, they had a last-second shot defeat by the Bulls and Nikola Vucevic earlier this week. And they've also lost the Cleveland Cavaliers this past week. And they've lost the Celtics in the last 10 days also. So they're ripe for the picking in some ways. In some ways, we got to watch out for the normal things with them. Maxey is a force. We're going to have to see what VJ Edgecombe looks like. Paul George will not be showing up. I'll go ahead and do the injuries real quick. Paul George is on the injury list for the Sixers. Yeah, he's flaky as fuck, man. What the hell is Paul George? Seriously. What is Paul George? Like, why does anybody respect this man? Seriously, bro. His knee, he won't be available for Saturday's game against the Raptors or Sunday's game against the Pistons. Yeah, so Paul George, no Paul George tonight. Why are we not surprised by that? Seriously. Also not playing tonight, Dominic Barlow. It's his elbow. He will not be available for the game tonight or the game tomorrow against the Pistons. So who are the Sixers this year, guys? Let's go look at the Sixers real quick. Who the hell are you? Tyrese Maxey, starting point guard. VJ Edgecombe, starting shooting guard. We have to see all the hype about this rookie, Edgecombe, the 3rd pick in the draft. We're just going to have to see what all the hype's about. Kelly Oubre Jr., who's on my fantasy team, is the small forward. Joel Embiid is the center. And I don't know, maybe they'll start Aiden Bona. They started him a couple times recently. They could start Quentin Grimes. They have a couple different guys. Jared McCain is on this team also. I think he's healthy. He's not listed. I thought he was hurt. Maybe he got hurt last year and he's healthy now. I don't know. Either way, Justin Edwards is on this team as a backup forward. They've also got Jabari Walker, Trendon Watford. Andre Drummond is still a backup center for them. Eric Gordon, the sharpshooter, is somewhere down the bench, somewhere down there. This guy's been around forever. And, of course, Mr. Grote himself, Kyle Lowry, is sitting on the bench for the Sixers down near the end. In some ways, he's a ceremonial player at this point and not necessarily a direct contributor on a night-by-night basis. But, yeah, that's what the Sixers look like right now. And Embiid, I don't know if he's playing or not. I know he's not listed right now, but with him, you never know because they have sat him in games recently where he's been a healthy scratch. where it's been like, we don't want to play them. I don't know. We'll have to see what the philosophy is with back-to-back for the Sixers this weekend, whether they want to play them tonight or play them tomorrow. Who knows? Who knows, Nick Nurse? What are you thinking? What are you thinking? Are you a little worried, Nikki Nursey? Yeah, are you a little worried because you've seen the Raptors, as some of the Atlanta Hawks content makers are calling us a dream team? That's what Trevor said. Trevor came in the chat last night. He said, the Hawks channels are calling us a Raptors dream team. I love that. I love that. Yeah, Nick, I don't know how you're going to handle us. Brandon Ingram's a whole other dimension to the Toronto Raptors. And, well, you're going to see him tonight. Yeah, so that's the Sixers. ESPN matchup rating has us 2/3 to lose tonight. Yeah, they got a 33% chance we'll win, 67% chance the Sixers win tonight. They had that very wrong last night with the Hawks game. I think they got it wrong again tonight. Because seriously, if we put in a good effort, we play together as a team, and we do what we're supposed to do, we should kick the Sixers' ass too. I'm not going to give them any respect going in. I'm not going to say they're this or that. We swept them last year. And even if they have Embiid tonight, I want to see Jakob against Embiid. They did kind of what we were talking about yesterday with Porzingis. Yeah, they stayed at home with their one-on-one matchups on defense. And even if Porzingis hung out around the three-point line, Jakob came out and guarded him. And that was actually really good because Porzingis wasn't effect on the game from the three-point line. And that's really kind of the biggest place he beats people at this point, is he just takes those little step into threes around the top of the three-point line. And Yacht was good about shadowing him and not giving him as many shots or open shots as he could have, because that could have been a factor last night with Porzingis taking over a little bit more and maybe getting more points. So I like that kind of guarding. So it's like, tether Jakob to Joel Embiid. And seriously, tether their minutes together too. Like rest Yacht. Yacht can probably run just as much as Joel can out there. So mirror their minutes. Shadow them, Darko. Make sure that Jakob is mirroring Joel's minutes. And when Joel comes out, take Yak out. Take him out immediately and go to the smaller center of Sandro against Bona and the other guys that they have. Andre Drummond will be an interesting load for people. Of course, we've seen Scotty do the penguin walk against Andre Drummond in recent years, making fun of him. I'm sure Scotty would love to play against Andre Drummond tonight and out rebound him and run circles around him because he's so slow. So yeah, this is some of the stuff that we were thinking about tonight. The Raptors have a clean bill of health on their injury list. Nobody, bad man is in lineup. Yes, RJ is in lineup, but nobody. If you're from Toronto, you know what I'm talking about right now. Nobody on the injury list right now. Nobody. That's right. And I've heard this too. Jonathan Mobo played in the game for 905 last night, rout victory over the College Park Skyhawks, and he is on a plane to Philadelphia. So they will have Mobo for tonight's game in Toronto's game against Philadelphia tonight. The 905 play tomorrow. It's a game we're going to as a Raptor Freak family. I hope you guys can come. 2:00 is the tip-off at Paramount Fine Food Center. And I'm pretty sure that Jonathan won't have to go to that game. He will not be at that game because he's been called up, and he is going to be with the Raptors in Philadelphia tonight. Jonathan Mobo has gone on a plane to Philadelphia to join the team from Toronto to be available tonight. So, yeah, just a little note there about that. Let's go see what our refs look like for this back-to-back game. Second night of a back-to-back in Philadelphia against the Sixers. Our crew chief tonight will be John Goebel. He is one of the brothers, Goebel. He is number 10. A 19th season out of Miami, Florida. His favorite movie is The Godfather. His favorite musician, he enjoys hip-hop, salsa, and reggaeton music. His favorite meal is skirt steak, black beans, and rice, and fried plantains. His favorite app is Amazon. Boo. He most like to visit Australia, and his hidden talent is he's a Cuban coffee barista. Yeah, John Goebel has officiated 1,074 regular season games in 18 seasons as an NBA staff official. He also refereed 151 playoff games, including 12 NBA Finals games. John Goble worked the 2023 NBA All-Star game in Salt Lake City. We won't hold that against him, though. That's on the players, not on the refs. Yeah, that All-Star at Salt Lake City was one of the worst All-Star games in the history of the All-Star. I'm not going to lie. It really was. John Goble does favor the Raptors today. He's the middle ref percentage-wise. We win 51% of our games in the history of John Goble. He's in the blue zone. And Sixers win 41%. So 51 to 41% is the split for the Raptors with the crew chief, John Goble. Yeah, one of the brothers Goble. That's right. So, yeah, that's, the Sixers have been a bad team for a long, long time. So a lot of the referees have bad records with them, just so y'all know. A lot of the referees have bad records with them. All right, the second ref is one of our favorites. In fact, some people are going to be very happy to hear this right now. Our second ref is from Minnetonka, Minnesota, number 37 in his 18th season. That's the big tight end, Eric Dalen. That's right. Eric Dalen will be refereeing the Raptors tonight. The big 6'7" tight end. Yeah, that's right. His favorite TV show is NCIS. His favorite movie is We Were Soldiers. He listens to Zach Brown Band. His favorite meal is chili. His favorite app is Netflix. He most like to cruise around the world. And his bucket list is to take a ride in a fighter jet. Okay, Top Gun. Highway to the danger zone. Yeah, Eric Dalen has officiated 857 regular season games and 3 playoff games in 17 seasons as an NBA staff official. Eric Dalen officiated the 2025 NBA All-Star Game in San Francisco. He also refereed the Rising Stars competition during NBA All-Star 2012 in Orlando. Eric Dalen is a collegiate tight end. He played tight end for Minnesota on their football team, and he has some height. He's like 6'7", y'all. So he's one of the bigger refs in the league, and we love Eric Dalen. He's a top 5 ref towards the Raptors. He has one of the best win percentages of the senior refs for the Raptors. We win 60% of our games when Eric Dalen is available. He's in that beautiful pink zone. That's a high-level zone. The purple zone's the only higher zone, and he's in that pink zone with Dedrick Taylor. And, yeah, the Sixers win 45% of their games with him. So 60 to 45, a huge, vast split. And the second ref, Eric Dalen, some of the Raptor Freaks' favorite ref is going to be reffing tonight. Yeah, I know some of y'all really are big fans of Eric Dalen. You guys like him. Well, we got him tonight, y'all. The last ref is the bad ref for us. And he, in some ways, he's just one of those ornery old-ass refs. And in some ways, he just is how he is. He's in the vein of Tony Brothers. But in some ways, he's worse than Tony Brothers and Ed Malloy and Scott Foster because he has a worse record with the Raptors. And it's Derek Collins, number 11, out of New Orleans, Louisiana, 25th season as a referee. His favorite TV show is Martin, starring Martin Lawrence. That's a good show. His favorite movie is Glory, starring Morgan Freeman and Denzel Washington. His favorite musician is Bob Marley. That's right. The beautiful, beautiful Bob Marley and the Wailers. We love him. His favorite book is the Bible. Well, he's got a good first book, too. This guy's got some good taste, Derek Collins. I want to say that. His favorite meal is gumbo. Well, he's from New Orleans. Of course he's going to love gumbo. That's just what they do down there. Jambalaya, gumbo. Yeah. Crawdaddy. Yeah. They're going to do that. His most like to visit Africa. Yeah. Well, call him aside. You could come and referee Basketball Africa League for a little while, Derek Collins. Give back to that continent and go ahead and teach some referees over there how y'all ref over here in the NBA. And you could do a lot of nice hand-me-down kind of knowledge work to the Basketball Africa League referees. You want to go to Africa, you could go and mark that off your bucket list and make it worthwhile while you're at it. How about that? Yeah, his bucket list is also to fly an airplane. So, maybe they'll let you fly on the way over there. I don't know. Probably not likely. You're going to have to put in that flight time. Yeah, Derek Collins has officiated 1,389 games in regular season games and 35 playoff games in 24 seasons as an NBA staff official. He's also worked the 2024 NBA All-Star Game in Indianapolis. Yeah, Derek Collins is an ornery ref. In some ways, he has a resting, angry face. But in some ways, like I said, he's one of these old school refs that's very like, I will reward you for working hard. If you're a lazy ass on the court, I will punish you. I will call things against you. But if you're playing right, if you're respecting the game, he will look out for you. That's the thing. It's like Rodney Mott, Tony Brothers, Derek Collins. This is a similar thing with these three guys. It's just they want you to respect the game. And if you don't respect the game or the refs, they will fuck you up. is what I'm saying. So don't get on the bad side of Derek Collins, Scotty Barnes, and the crew, because in some ways he could be your friend if you respect the game correctly. Trust me. Derek Collins has a 43 win percentage with us. 43% of our games we win. And like I said, that's worse than Scott Foster, Ed Malloy, and a lot of other refs. He's down near the bottom of my spreadsheet. So 43%. And meanwhile, the Sixers win 48%. So the split is 43 to 48 for the Sixers with the third ref, Derek Collins. Overall, this is a pretty good ref crew. It's a weird ref crew because it's the second night of a back-to-back. John Goebel's a ref that can be he can be against you or for you. We'll just have to see how he is. Has a proclivity to be okay with the Raptors if they're playing right. Like I said, it's a similar thing with Derek Collins and John Goebel. They will respect teams that are playing hard and doing what they're supposed to do on the court. If you're lazy, if you're not getting after it, if you're the team that's a step too slow, these referees won't help you out. So that's the thing. And this is the case, a lot of cases with a lot of the refs, is they respect effort. They respect playing the right way and respecting the game. So if we do that tonight, that'll be good, especially if Big Dummy on the other side is not respecting the game and being a lazy big oaf that falls over on people and hurts people. He's trying to flop all over the place. So I'm just going to say, we want to get the refs respect, especially if old blowhole is yelling at them too and just getting all butthole face. You know, he might actually piss the refs off just himself, Nick Nurse, just from having a tantrum on the sideline towards like Eric Dalen or Derek Collins. He may actually get the refs on the wrong side of them himself, Nick Nurse. I'm just saying. I know the track record with Nick. He was our coach for a long time. So, yeah, the refs are okay. There's nothing too red flaggish about it. As I said, to the best team to win, and that's kind of what their philosophy is going to be. If you're the best team and you're playing your ass off, I will let you win. So hopefully that is what happens tonight. The NBA is really not knowing how to handle the Raptors being 2-0 in Group A of the in-season tournament. They are miscalculating. They're putting out posts saying the Raptors are now 1-1 in the Group A. No, they're 2-0, motherfuckers. Get your posts right. And I love Stan Van Gundy shouting out the Raptors on the national television game with the Spurs versus the Rockets last night in their in-season tournament game. Stan Van Gundy reporting that the Raptors were about to beat the Atlanta Hawks in Atlanta and go 2-0 in the in-season tournament, saying they're looking really good. They're probably going to Vegas. And I love that. Thank you, Coach Van Gundy, for putting us on blast on national television and speaking good words about us when a lot of the NBA just ignores us and doesn't want to give us any credit when we start doing good things. So credit to Stan Van Gundy. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Yeah, there's a lot to talk about today. There's your setup for the game tonight with the refs and the previews. I think that if the Raptors play the style they've been playing lately, they should do okay against the Sixers. It's just we got to watch out for them trying to use their more powerful players against us too heavy, like Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid. If those two guys are going too much, you know, it is really important that we try and contain Maxey and maybe try and not let him go off for like 40 points. You know, that's a real good key to the victory, is contain Maxey. If you can, is easier said than done. Trust me. And, you know, we don't want to let side players beat us too. You know, no Kelly Oubre going big or anything like that on the scoring for him, even though it would help my fantasy team. And VJ Edgecombe, well, welcome to the NBA. Hopefully you have a rookie moment and you're not as good as you have been in some of the games so far this year. So, yeah, if you guys want to call me, the phone line is open now. I'll take any calls on reaction to the two games last night. So, yeah, let's start with the 905 real quick, because I know a lot of people are going to want to talk about the Raptors game, of course. But, yeah, first of all, the Raptors 905 opened their season last night in Mississauga at against College Park Skyhawks at Paramount Fine Food Center. And this was a rout right from the start. The 905 jumped on them early and got a 10-point lead very quickly in the first 5 minutes of the game. And they didn't look back. And they ended up beating them by 36 points by the end of the game, y'all. 36-point victory rout for the 905 over the College Park Skyhawks. And it was nasty. You know, there's nobody on their G League team. It's really bare cupboards. And in some ways, because we're so healthy on our main squad, having all three of our two ways, along with Jonathan Mobo there, was a very powerful thing for Coach Andrew Jones in the opening day. Now, one of the craziest things about the game at 9:05 last night is Shamshay was sitting at courtside. He was, seriously. There's pictures of Ulrich Shamshay supporting the 9:05 in Mississauga, and that is a good sign, guys. I think this is an amazing thing. He has no reason to be here right now. He is not officially a part of the Raptors organization. So this, in some ways, this shows a commitment to a loyalty to our organization. And this may be showing signs that, yes, we're circling back with Shamshay, and he will be able to be reintroduced to our team. I think that it's very, very good that you were there last night, Prince, because honestly, I really do want you to return and continue your career as a Raptor. And the fact that you were sitting in street clothes at the 9:05 game, supporting the team that you were on last year because you felt the loyalty of it, and it's showing that maybe you are still attached to our team. So really cool to know that Ulrich Shamshay went to the game. I wonder if he'll be there tomorrow, guys. That's what I'm saying, y'all. We need to go to this game and see if we can get seats near Ulrich and sit next to him at the game. That would be cool, wouldn't it? We go to the Raptors 9:05 game and Ulrich Shamshay is sitting in the row next to us. And it's like, hey, it's Prince Shamshay. We love you, bro. He's like, that'd be cool, man. But yeah, that was very telling and very interesting that Shamshay was there. In some ways, that's the biggest story about the 9:05 game, other than them routing and being a very, very successful team last night. Andrew Jones, very proud of his team. One of the big differences in this game between the 9:05 and the College Park Skyhawks was conditioning. Honestly, the Skyhawks looked like they weren't ready for a season or anything. They looked very, very much out of shape. And a testament to the Raptors 9:05 training camp, and the Raptors organization in general for getting people up to speed like AJ Lawson, Elijah Martin, and Chucky Hepburn, working with the other team all summer and getting them in a good shape. And because they really showed it compared to them. And that's a big reason why there's a 36-point rout victory for the 9:05 in their season opener last night. The tip-off tournament in the 9:05 in the G League has not been very good. They've always been either 500 or sub 500 in this beginning part of the season, and they don't get to participate in the tip-off tournament exactly correctly because they usually don't do well enough in these first 12, 15 games. Well, I'd like to see that be different this year, especially since it seems like they jumped out to a very good start last night. So let's see what was going on with the 9:05 last night. Who were the players of the game, Lex? Well, let's go ahead and do the players of the game. The number one star of the game was AJ Lawson. The kid from Brampton was interviewed after the game, and he was very much they asked him what it means to him to play at home and play for Mississauga in Toronto and the Raptors organization. He said it means everything. It means everything. It's like my grandma was in the game tonight, and she didn't have to come that far from Brampton to come to Mississauga and sit at Paramount Fine Food Center and watch me play. That's special shit, man. And then he's a real one. He's a hometown hero. And AJ, he gets it. He gets it. In some ways, like RJ, he's selfless. In some ways, this is what he said when they asked him about his goals for the season. He said, I just want to be the best AJ Lawson I can be. And wherever that gets me, that gets me. I am trying to prove that I am an NBA player. He did say that. He said, I am trying to prove I am an NBA player. All right, we got a caller on the air. Caller, you're on the Raptor Freak live stream in the morning. How are you today?
What's happening, Lex? It's Kareem.
Hey, we got Kareem Thomas, our dunk champion, our Vince Carter of our channel. How are you today, sir?
Oh, man, I'm over the moon. I am over the moon. Yesterday, watching that game, It showed so much growth with the Raptors because, they were down the whole game, right? But it's that steady chipping away at the lead. That's what I love about friggin' teams that are actually putting it together. They're chipping away. And when they finally get that, when Scotty got that drive-in layup for them over, I think, 1 point, then they started building on the lead. And that shows so much great character of the Raptors.
Yeah.
And it's still early in the season. I'm so happy that they're hitting this small little goal, because now we're going to get to see them thrive. Go up and up and up.
Well,
yes, there's going to be some down games, but I just loved watching what I seen yesterday.
Yeah,
it was a collective game.
I think that what you're saying is that you like seeing the Raptors being capable to win games, and that you like seeing them in a big pressure game, a game that matters. That's, as Grady said after the game, the money does have an influence on them trying to get up for this game. He did say that after the game. As you know, this thing, and I don't totally see it the same way as you. They weren't really chipping away at it. They were kind of stymied for a while, and Atlanta was keeping that good cushion, but something flipped in the third quarter. And it allowed them, because I think what it was really is that Atlanta showed that they were less conditioned than us. That there was just a certain point in the game where the Raptors were way more active and energetic, and their depth and things just started to overtake the Hawks, because Quinn Snyder after the game said, "We did so good in the first half. We guarded them so well. We were getting to the balls. We're doing so great. We were having things in our offense that I like." But then in the second half, it kind of went away. And what Darko said in his interview was, we weren't being ourselves in the first half. In the second half, we recommitted ourselves to our defensive identity, and we started getting better results on the defensive end that led to that. But there was a real switch. You're right. There was a little period at the end of the third into the fourth where the Raptors took over the game, and then they started building that lead more and more near the end. But it was within striking distance. And we needed to see them safely land the plane in a situation like a away game with referees that could be screwing with them. And we don't need to give the other team any good feelings in a run right at the end either. So it was.
I absolutely, I loved it, because you know what? The whole time, Lex, I was just like, it is in striking distance. Right? I was like, we're losing. We're not doing the greatest. I'm like, we are in striking distance. I'm just waiting for this team to flip that switch. And boom, there it goes. They did it. And I just the whole time I was thinking, because like from a football guy, like I feel these games out a little bit, and then I realized, like, you know what, they're doing small things that are going to turn this thing around. Yeah. And I just loved watching that switch. It was just amazing to me to see. Yeah. I'm so over the moon about the Raptors game yesterday, and I just hope that you know, that transition to tonight. Yeah. They're feeling that high.
This will be a good test.
Yeah. And you know what? If we beat the Sixers today, it's really gonna put the NBA on notice if they don't notice already.
Yeah, it'll mean that we're in our first 10 games. We won 6 of the first 10 games, and that's 60% winning percentage. 6-4 at the end of 10 games. That'd be fantastic. I think that two things that kind of changed things in the second half were that in some ways Scotty woke up. We didn't see Scotty trying to score as much in the first half. We also saw that like they recommitted themselves to their defense at a certain point. And that's when Quinn Snyder said that it really frustrated their team, because a lot of stuff that the Hawks were able to do in the first half, they were not able to do late. And if you look at the point totals in the fourth quarter, we outscored them like 16, 18 points or something like that. And that was huge, because we shut them down. We won this game with defense last night. We shut them down offensively, and we continued to score ourselves. And that was the big part. And I also think that Battle had something to do with it. Like, I like how they used him. I know some people saying, why don't they put him in earlier? But it's kind of like when he comes in, he really changes the feel on the floor immediately. And it's kind of like, go ahead.
They actually had your Battle Dick formation.
Yeah. And you saw Dick got the 3 instead, because it's like the distraction. And like Grady was in one corner, he got that shot, and it could have been him or Jamison. It doesn't matter which one. It's just stretch the floor and open things up. So
there was a lineup. I'm not too sure what it was, but I knew it was Battle, Dick, and Scotty. Yeah. They were in at the same time, and they didn't have a true point guard in. Or they might have had Shed. I'm not too sure, but it kind of forced Scotty to almost kind of play the point guard role and make most of the decisions. And that's when I noticed that they started to, like, the floor started to open up, and that's when I think Calamari Boyle, he got the 3 in the corner, and then around the same time, Dick got the 3 in the corner. I realized that Darko is playing a lot with the rotation. Sometimes it's kind of weird, but there's sometimes it hits so perfectly, and especially having Battle in that time. Yeah. It basically just it spread them out so much that because Atlanta's really lanky, right? So it kind of spread them out so much to the point that they were able to maneuver and garner points that way.
Yeah, the first half, the Hawks were very much annoying because in some ways they're a very athletic, talented team. In fact, some Hawks fans after the game were lamenting that we've got a lot of great athletes, but we may not have very good basketball players in some ways. Like these guys are gazelles. They run up and down the court. They got long ass arms. Riza Shea, Daniels, and Johnson for them. But in some ways, it's like their athleticism and their shit disturbing in like the middle of the court was very effective at the start of the game because they were getting in the middle of our offense and kind of getting transition points in the first half. But in the second half, we were better at kind of avoiding that, and we were the more aggressive team on defense and causing problems. But Darko was not happy with the amount of turnovers that the Raptors had last night. And that is something that the 905, same thing. They both had a lot of turnovers last night, and both the coaches were echoing the same thing that they need to clean up the turnovers. But alas, both teams won. So
yeah. Well, it's funny because Atlanta matched the same energy that we brought to them the first game. Right? Yeah. And again, like you were saying, they don't have that type of stamina. So we've seen that in the first half because obviously Schneider was like fucking, yo, you guys got to match the same energy or you guys are going to get blown out again by 28 points.
Well, and this is something that was, I could say for both games last night, both the Raptors coaches enjoy a very deep, talented bench. And if you look at like with Trae Young out, the Hawks really only go like 7 deep. And if you run them crazy in the first half, they will start to show signs of fatigue in the second half. And that's what happened. Honestly, at a certain point, the Hawks just looked like a more tired team than the Raptors. And, once again, we'll get back to Darko's rotations and keeping guys fresh. And I love what he's doing with the rotations. I feel like he's doing a good job of keeping either Scotty or Brandon out on the court at all times. I love the lineups that it's Brandon with 4 bench guys. I love when it's like RJ and Scotty and 3 bench guys. I love those kind of different combinations. And Scotty and RJ are so good together. Oh, my gosh. That one transition play in stride with the traffic around them and the perfect pass by Scott. RJ catches it in one motion, walks right through and lays it up like it's nothing. It's just that stuff is so beautiful to me, the Barnes and Barrett connection. So, yeah, there's a lot of contributing stuff to this. Now, Kareem, are you able to come tomorrow? I would love for you to come to the game tomorrow with us if you can.
I have to go close up the cottage this weekend. I don't want to.
Yeah, I've heard also it may be a very snowy day tomorrow. We're just going to have to see. So travel may be the first travel day where you have to drive with snow around on the ground, just from what I've heard.
God, I don't want to see no snow. Oh, yeah, you know what? But Brandon Ingram, what a fucking treat to watch, eh? Like, honestly, watching him, he just, I get our comments in Discord, he just moves at his own fucking pace. And the way he lines up to the basket, he puts up both elbows where it's like it's impossible to block his shot. And his release point is always going to go over. And it doesn't matter who's trying to. It doesn't matter.
And it was especially interesting last night against the longer defenders like Riza Shea, because these guys are not short guys and they have crazy long arms. And it didn't matter. Like Brandon could be right at the elbow, right there at the free throw line. And he's just barely over them. And he has such a craftsmanship to his moves that it's like this is a long body of work of like decades of him working on his game to get to this kind of point. And that's the great thing. He put in the work to be this good on offense. It's not like you could be this tall and you could have his body and you don't work. You're not going to be jack shit in the NBA. So it really is a testament to how much he worked. It was fun. I went to take my truck in yesterday to get it serviced, and the guy and I were waiting, and he was kind of like asking me about Raptors because I was wearing Raptors gear, of course. And I was like, yeah, we're going to play tonight. And I was going on and on about it. And it's like, look, we've had 3 players in our history on the Raptors, and Brandon Ingram's one of those 3, and Kawhi and Vince are the other 2. And that's the thing we all have to remember is like, look, we should have a little bit more swagger. We should have a little bit more confidence in our team, Raptors Nation, because we've got Brandon. And Brandon is a very, very potent weapon in a couple different ways. And we haven't even totally seen him in the clutch way yet at the end of the game. So we have kind of, but not totally yet at all. So it's going to be fun.
I see Brandon, I love seeing Brandon because, like he's trying to play within our system a lot.
Yep.
But I know that he's itching to have like a 30 to 40 point game. He's itching to do it. I see it happening soon.
It will happen, yeah.
I know he just wants to play with it.
Well, it's not. I don't know if he actually has that want. I think that he likes just getting the W's. I think that he's going to do whatever it takes, and if it takes him getting a 30-point game for us to win, he'll do it on that night. But I think that his orientation of what he cares about right now is very team oriented more than ever, probably, and that's showing in his complete game and him getting stats and other things, and putting a real commitment and energy on the defensive end. That's a big difference with him, Yeah. But hey, Kareem, anything else? We're gonna wrap it up. And man, there's so much to talk about today. It's crazy.
Oh, I know. Sorry. I was like, as soon as he said like the phone lines are open, I'm like, fuck it, let me find Alexa's number. I got to call. I'm freaking super excited right now. Yeah. I know you're going through your 905 stuff, so go ahead and I'll
no problem, man. I appreciate your call and I appreciate your contribution today, and I hope you'll call me more in the future, always, obviously. But try to call me without your butt.
Yeah, I know.
You only did that once, and that was hilarious. But either way.
Yeah, I have issues. I just know that when I'm listening to the YouTube through my phone, I just know just not have it in my fucking pocket or something.
Oh yeah, there's that one time. Well, I mean, it's all good. It's all good. Either way, we love you, Kareem, and thank you for being our dunk champion. And good luck closing down everything tomorrow. And we'll just have to catch you the next time, man. We'll have to catch you the next time.
Well, one last thing.
Yeah.
Again, as always, if you haven't spoken to anybody for a long time, just call them, message them, tell them that you love them. Yeah. It goes a long way. You know what I mean?
So, life's short, and you know what? You want to make sure your people know these kind of things for sure.
Absolutely.
Sure. All right, KT. All right, man. Thank you for calling. Let's go Raptors and Raptors 905. Wow! 905. I love it. All right, we had Kareem Thomas calling us on the Raptor Freak Show today with his reactions to the great win over the Hawks last night. Yeah, let me continue with the 905 game real quick. AJ Lawson is my number one star of the game in a 905 game last night. In 29 minutes, he had 24 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 turnovers, 8 of 17 shooting, 4 of 10 from 3, and 50% at the line. But he was a plus 34, which is a huge number. But yeah, AJ got the interview after the game, and he's my player of the game. My second star of the game for the Raptors 905 last night is Elijah Martin. Now, this is what I want to tell y'all what Elijah did last night, because I know a lot of y'all were busy with the Raptors game, and you may not have been paying attention to 905. Immediately from the beginning of the game last night, the Raptors 905 started winning because of Elijah Martin. Elijah Martin came out in the first 5 minutes of the game last night. He hit 3 threes in a row to get the 10-point lead for the 905, and then they didn't look back. And Elijah was balling. I'm just going to say that, y'all. He was balling out. In fact, the other 3 he got was this crazy in the corner, falling out of bounds kind of 3, kind of from behind the backboard. You know those kind of shots. And it was near the end of the shot clock, too. It was super dramatic. And he nailed it. It was so crazy. It was a crazy shot. So salute the two-way Elijah Martin in 29 minutes, 22 points. He had 4 offensive rebounds with 6 rebounds altogether. 5 assists with only 4 turnovers. 5 assists with 4 turnovers. He had a steal and a block also. He shot 7 of 12 at 58%, including 4 of 7 from 3. And he was 50% at the line, 2 of 4, a plus 16. Elijah Martin, good first 905 game, my guy. That was a really good way to make a first impression. The guy who got the chain last night in Mississauga, though, was Chucky. Chucky Hepburn getting the chain. And I noticed that the chain that they're giving out for 905 this year is the chain the Raptors had last year. Seriously, they got that Raptors 30th anniversary chain out in Mississauga now, and Chucky was spinning it after the game. Now, why did Chucky get the chain if he's my 3rd star? Because Andrew Jones wanted to reward him for his double-double. He got a double-double in points and assists, and he got 5 steals on top of that. In fact, Chucky was doing Chucky things. He was very, very active, and he really does show that his number one talent is stealing the ball. He's so disruptive, and he gets after it. He's so quick, and it's really he risks a lot when he goes for steals, but he's usually so money on getting them. It's not really even a risk. But yeah, Chucky was awesome, man. The 3 two-ways were the best 3 players for 905 yesterday. 29 minutes for Chucky Hepburn. He only had 12 points. He had 3 rebounds, 10 assists, 5 steals, and 4 turnovers. 4 of 7 from the field, including 4 of 5 from 3. That's awesome. You got a guy with a double-double and points and assists, 5 steals as a point guard, and he shot 4 of 5 from 3. Chucky Hepburn. That's why you get the chain, my guy. That's why you get the chain. Yeah, he also was a plus 25. So, yeah, those are my top 3 stars from 905. And next star, number 4, is Jonathan Mobo. Jonathan, did pretty good. He got a double-double also in points and rebounds. 18 points in 27 minutes with 12 rebounds, including 5 offensive rebounds. Jonathan was a little sloppy at times. He did have 7 turnovers. And there was this Japanese guy in the Rep 905 chat that was just going on dissing Jonathan over and over again. He did this shit last year, though. So we expect this from this Japanese guy in the 905 chat. Why do you do that, bro? Seriously, take your negativity and just keep it yourself. Actually, I blocked him last night. I don't have to see him anymore. Now, Jonathan may have gotten 7 turnovers, but he had 7 for 11 shooting. He shot 64%. He got an assist and a steal also. And as I said, he had 5 offensive rebounds, a plus 24 in 27 minutes. Jonathan Mobo with a double-double. So I say it's very solid. What was I saying yesterday? I was like, Jonathan, go out and get a 20, 10, and 5 game. Well, he got a 16, 12, and 1 game. 16, 12, and 1. Yeah, maybe more assists, Jonathan. Maybe more assists. Be that mini Scotty on that level. My 5th star of the game is bench player, Boise State sharpshooter Tyson Degenhart. Tyson Degenhart came in off the bench, and he was a nice offensive boost, and he kind of filled the stat sheet. He got a little bit of everything there. 10 points for Tyson in 14 minutes. He got 3 offensive rebounds, which I really, really like. 1 assist, 1 steal, 1 block, 0 turnovers. He shot 4 for 6, including 1 of 3 at three-point land. He made his only free throw, a plus 20 in 14 minutes. Tyson Degenhart of the Boise State. Yeah. So there you go. Honorable mentions, maybe an honorable mention to Juju Reese, who got 9 rebounds in his professional debut. 20 minutes for Juju Reese, 7 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists, and a block. He was 3 for 3 from the field also. He didn't miss on his shots. And he was 1 for 2 at the free throw line, though. Plus 22 for Juju. We saw Patrick McCaw return to Mississauga and play last night as the Grizzle vet off the bench for 905, a Raptors champion, Pat McCaw. 16 minutes, 5 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 3 steals for Patrick. 1 turnover, 40% shooting at 2 of 5, 1 of 4 at the 3, and a plus 7. Jarkel Joyner getting a revenge game on his former team. I mean, we're going to rout the other team if we got the best player from the other team from last year on our team this year. Jarkel Joyner was the best player on the Skyhawks last year. And, well, he didn't even start for our team, and he wasn't even anywhere near this leading scorer. 19 minutes for Jarkel, 9 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist, 1 turnover, 4 for 6 from the field, one free three-pointer, plus 11. Tyreek Key, actually a really good game for him. He's an honorable mention. 20 minutes, 15 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal, 2 turnovers, 4 of 9 shooting, including 2 of 4 from 3. Made all 4 of his free throws, plus 17 for Tyreek Key. David Roddy came in, and he wasn't as effective or big as I thought he would be. 21 minutes, 4 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 2 turnovers, 40% shooting, a plus 4 for David Roddy. And then other starter, Olivier Sarr, started at center last night. 16 minutes for him, 6 points, 2 rebounds, 1 steal, 1 turnover, 2 of 5. 2 of 5. All right, we're going to get another call here on the Raptor Freak reaction show in the morning. Here we got, let's see who we got here. Welcome to the Raptor Freak live show. Are you a butt dialer?
Oh, no, I'm not a butt dialer. I don't butt dial anything.
Whoa, my gosh. It's the Naco the Nacho.
Yeah, the Naco the Nacho.
The Naco the Nacho.
The Naco the Nacho. Kareem was mentioning something about Brandon that I kind of want to elaborate.
Sure.
Well, I'm not elaborate, but expand upon.
Okay.
Something like that I've kind of always had a problem with Gary Trent Jr., especially when he was on the Raptors, is it feels like he goes to isolation like so much, and I never felt like it was like comfortable with everyone else. It always seemed like awkward with everyone else. It never felt like his isolation was like working with the flow of the team.
Okay.
With Brandon, it seems like his isolation, like it really does like work with the team, and if he can't do his isolation, then like he can like pass to someone and like be good. So as an isolation player, I do like really like and like really appreciate what.
Well,
Brandon
I think the big difference between Gary Trent Jr. and a Brandon Ingram is that, well, this is the thing. I'll say this: Gary Trent Jr. just wasn't a very good passer. He didn't like to pass. It's like if he gets the ball, he's going to shoot it. That's the one thing that we always knew about Jr. And in some ways, that I don't diss him for that, but that's part of the reason why he wasn't a Raptor for long once Darko came around, is because that you can't. He wouldn't have worked out with Darko because he doesn't pass the ball enough from him getting the ball. It's like when Gary got the ball, we always knew he was going to shoot. Now, Brandon can be like that too, but in some ways, the thing is, Brandon is a better mismatch against whoever he plays, and he usually has the advantage, and he's going to have a more effective time scoring. They're very different players, and I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Now, one of the plays that made me think about what you just said is the high pick and roll with Grady that Brandon did last night. There was a play where they did it right at the top of the three-point line, at the free throw line, where Grady and a two-man game with Grady and Brandon, and it led to a Grady open three at the top of the key that he nailed. That play hasn't been played hardly at all this season yet, and this is one of those kind of two-man game things that I think we could get more fruit from the tree on, because that's money. I mean, they got to guard Brandon and respect his offensive ability. And then all of a sudden, Grady's got all the room in the world to take an open shot at the top of the three-point line. So I really like that play. And I think that that's kind of what you're talking about, is that like you can see Brandon mixing up isolation for himself with some two-man game with the other Raptors. And that's what we want to see more of, because it's like we don't want to get the scouting report and say, well, this is what they're going to do. They're going to set up Brandon on the elbow over and over again, mid-range. That's what they're going to do. No. We want him to play off of Scott. We want him to play off RJ. We want him to play with Emmanuel. And we want to see, I mean, I'd love to see him do more stuff with Yak too, because there's a lot of interesting things you could do with Pirtle and Ingram in theory. So that's part of the thing, is like we're just scratching the surface. We're having success, and there are all kinds of weapons that Scotty and all the rest of them, with Darko's guidance, can start to develop more and more. Yeah, so it's awesome. So you driving somewhere, Gerald?
No, I'm you're probably hearing like cars in the background because I'm on my balcony right now because my roommates are asleep. I'm just having my smoke on the balcony with watching the highway. Yeah.
Nice.
The games are getting better though. Like progressively, I think like they are improving as a team.
Yep.
RJ, Brandon, and Scotty have always been solid this season. I'm sure you'll get to my comment. RJ really turned it on the fourth quarter.
Did you notice with RJ, though, last night that he kind of struggled for the first time this year? He wasn't as steady in the beginning of the game. He missed a lot of his shots. And I think that was kind of like a testament to Atlanta's disruptive defense and being very physical. RJ didn't start as well, but he didn't hang his head. He didn't let it stay that way. And by the end of the game, he was super important in the fourth quarter. And also he got a lot of points later in the game. He was kind of like Scott. Both of them were not really chipping in their offensive contributions as majorly in the first half, but they both woke up in the second, and they made sure the Raptors were on the right side of things. I think you're right too, that we're progressing. Our team is, this is the thing. We're finding out different ways to win. I like that we're also taking it very seriously about going and getting wins and being very professional. I think that the last two games that we've won have been very professional wins against Milwaukee and Atlanta. And
and these are also teams with I think good defensive personnel. Like I think Jalen Johnson, good defender. Kristaps Porzingis, I think he had 3 blocks last night or something. Obviously, Giannis is a good defender. So good wins over good. Well, teams that it means something for us to beat these teams.
Yeah, we're going to have a mix of opponents. We're going to have Brooklyn. We're going to have Oklahoma City. But, we got to see how we go up against the different levels. And I would say the last 2 games were not easy games to win. These were games where they had to put in the right effort, and there was high pressure, and there was a little bit of these are difficult. These are pretty good Eastern Conference teams. They're pretty good Eastern Conference teams. So, yeah, I like how they handled them. In some ways, it's we could have just looked at the first game of the season and be well, we beat them here already. And then, the Hawks could have been yeah, we need to defend our home. But no, we beat them both times in Atlanta now. And the next 2 games we play against them will be in a row, and they will both be in Toronto. And I would love to see us sweep the Hawks for the season, because that's what we want to do. We want to be a winning team. We want to sweep teams. We want to beat the teams we're supposed to beat. And we want to compete and hopefully beat the top teams that we want to beat also. So there's a lot to this. Definitely. Yeah. Gerald, anything to wrap up with real quick, man?
I was just going to say, Quick is also getting better with each and every game as well.
Yeah.
Back to the point guard we signed. Things look positive. That's all I got to say. Go Raptors.
I like what Darko said about IQ again last night. He's basically telling the press, y'all are making up all this bullshit about Emmanuel. The social media is over scrutinizing him. And honestly, I've always believed in him, and we knew he was going to do this. And in some ways, this isn't much different than what he's already been doing. It's just that some more of the shots are going in. And that's the big difference right there. But yeah, Emmanuel had his best game of the season last night for sure. And we'll go over him with the stars when I get to the Raptors box score. But yeah, Gerald, I appreciate you calling today. I wish you didn't have to work tomorrow so that you could come to the game tomorrow. That would be awesome. But either way, I love hearing from my Mississauga guys, Kareem and Gerald. Yeah, over in the 905 over there, man. You're doing all right? Are you still living over there, or did you move?
I'm living in a different spot of the 905, but I am still in the 905.
Okay, well, he's still in the 905. So you're still in the West Division. All right, my guy. Yeah. I love you, man. I hope you're doing good. And like I said, man, I wish you could come to the game with me, but maybe we can go to another game this season at some point. That'd be awesome.
We'll figure something out.
Awesome. All right, Naco the Nacho, my good friend from Second City from a long, long time ago. I've known Naco for a decade, y'all. It's crazy. We've done a lot of stuff together in comedy, on stage, and stuff like that. I think about the Schmendricks and the things that we did, Gerald, and it was good times, man. It was good times. Yeah.
For sure.
All right, brother. I'll talk to you again soon, my man. All right.
Talk to you later. Go Raptors.
Go Raptors. Go 905. Go Tempo. Yeah. All right. We got Jerry calling us, man. Jerry calling us. Cool. It's good to hear Nako's voice and see how he's doing on the balcony. His cough. Oh, a little woo-wee, woo-hoo, partaking. Yeah, a little partaking there, Gerald, right? Yeah, I know what you're doing there. All right, let me get back to the stars. I did the final stars for them. Yeah, let me just finish up the box score for the G League game last night. On the other side of note, not really anybody I want to really point out. Jacob Toppin of the Toppin family was their best player. He had 24 points and 10 rebounds and 10 of 13 shooting. So he was kind of the most effective guy. He's getting inside and getting dunks and some highlights. Former Raptor Malik Williams came out at the beginning of the game and bombed 2 threes and had me worried he was trying to do a revenge games on us. Alas, he still just finished with those 2 threes, and that's it. 6 points and 6 rebounds for a former Raptor Malik Williams, if you remember him from a couple years ago. They're nothing of that much of a note. Like they don't have very good players on Skyhawks. They just don't. And in the team stats, it was nasty. The Raptors 905 shot 55%, and they just way outshot the other team. The other team shot 38%. And we got 17 threes to their 9, shooting 44% from 3, and they shot 22%. We shot 60% at the free throw line. That's something we could tighten up. We out-rebounded them 48-40. And assist-to-turnover ratio was pretty bad for College Park. Hey, they got 24 assists with 31 turnovers. That's a negative assist-to-turnover ratio. And meanwhile, we had 26 assists to 25 turnovers. So it's pretty 1-to-1 with that. And Andrew Jones did say that after the game. It's like, man, we got to tighten up with our turnovers. We were way too much turnovers. So there's a lot of room to improve, even though y'all won by 36. It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, the steals, 14 steals for the 905. That's Chucky, man. That's Chucky right there. Yeah, 39 points off of turnovers. And they dominated the paint too by +10. Yeah, just a great all-around effort and game by Andrew Jones and the Raptors 905 to start the season. And well, we're going tomorrow. And I'd love for you to join me. College Park Skyhawks versus Raptors 905. 2 p.m. is the start at Paramount Fine Food Center in Mississauga tomorrow afternoon. I'm going to be down there around 1:15, 1:30, and I hope you'll join me. I think we've got a couple people coming with me. I believe that Neil's coming. Adriana's coming. I think Meredith's going to come, and we're going to have some more other people come too. So hopefully y'all can make it too and be a part of it. That's right. Let me check in with the comments, and maybe we'll get into the box score for the Raptors from the comments. Trevor J is here. First in the chat with the words of wisdom. When you're on the path of major growth in life, you're going to want to quit 1,000 times. That's normal. But hear me out. Don't. Every step you keep going builds a different kind of strength, not the strength people can see. The strength that carries you when life really tries to break you, and that's when you win. That's amazing. Yeah, I like that. You know, in some ways, this channel is very diligently done by us. You know, you wake up every morning, and you help me out, Trevor. I wake up every morning to do the show. There's been times where I did not want to do the show because I was tired or I was going through shit in my personal life. And it wasn't the right feeling, but I did it anyway. And in some ways, you know, I keep my streak because of doing that. In some ways, that's, I guess, an example of what you're talking about is that, you know, I don't get 1% better every day if I don't show up at 9:30 every day and do the show. And I do get 1% better every day. I know I do because I can look at the way I've changed over the last 4 years. And I understand that I'm more clear and concise. And in some ways, I'm easier to watch. And in some ways, I've just tightened up my game. I mean, if you're going to practice will make perfect if you practice every day at 9:30 a.m. But yeah, there's been days I didn't want to do this show, just like the Raptors probably don't want to practice some days because they're tired. And well, you just go through it and you'll be better for it. Thank you, Trevor J, for your words of wisdom. Yeah. Trevor's saying this, Raptors top of the NBA Cup, 2-0, big win, come back and 905 blowout. Twin IQ got the chain, and Chucky got the chain last night. Yeah, IQ got the chain last night, and some people may not agree with that, but I do. And also Chucky got the chain also. Both of them weren't the leading scorers on their teams, but they were the top point guards, and they were leading their teams to victories. And that's awesome. I love that. Yeah, the Raptors are 2-0 and at the top of Group A. And NBA, you may not want to pay attention to it or put that on light, but it don't matter. We're going to be there, and hopefully we're going to be in Vegas. This is very, very much we're in the driver's seat for this now. You know, both the top teams in the Group A, other than us, have a loss now. Both Cleveland and Atlanta were the top two threats to go to Vegas over us, and we beat both of them. And now we have to beat the Wizards here in Toronto. And then we have to beat the Pacers also here in Toronto. That's the other thing. We won our 2 road games for the in-season tournament in Group A. And our next 2 in-season tournament games are in Toronto with home court advantage against 2 teams that have struggled to a degree so far this season. So you can look at it all. If we don't mess around and slouch, if we take this as seriously as possible, we should be going to Vegas, y'all, and competing in the mini tournament for the in-season tournament. We should be going there. Right now, at this point, I thought that last night, being 2-0 and beating the top 2 teams in the Group A other than us, that should put us there, man. That should put us there. Trevor J saying this, happy game day. Let's beat the Sixers tonight. That's right, Nick Nurse. We're coming to see you now. And Jack Armstrong will be calling the game tonight in Philadelphia with Matt Devlin on TSN. And yeah, I want to see the Raptors say hello to Nick Nurse and extend the win streak over them. I believe we won 4 in a row over the Sixers from last season. Let's get 5 in a row over the Sixers and 5 in a row in the win streak we're on right now. That's what I'm all about right there. That's right. Trevor's saying that Oklahoma City beat the Kings in the NBA Cup. Now they're 9-1. Their record is 9-1. Yeah, and they're 2-0 in the Cup Challenge too. It's very likely that the Oklahoma City Thunder may be doing something in this NBA Cup. But strange things happen in one game eliminations. Things can go different ways, and all of a sudden, a team that you would think would just walk through it because they're the champs and the best team in the league, they lose in an upset, and they're out of the picture. And a whole other team can win the Emiratis Cup. That bullshit. Yeah, I don't like that they call it the Emiratis. I'm gonna call it the in-season tournament because in some ways I don't want to put any advertising for Dubai and the human rights atrocities that they fund from there. Because in some ways, the whole partnership of the NBA with the Emiratis is absolutely disgusting. Honestly, absolutely disgusting. And in some ways, I hate how so many things, corporate world and geopolitical stuff, is so in cahoots with genocide and absolutely funding misery and horrible shit in the world like the Emiratis do. So this is why I refuse to use that term. I want to just call it the in-season tournament. Fuck the advertising they paid for that. Fuck all that bullshit. Human rights abuses matter. And I care about that shit. And this is the way that I boycott them. In some ways, I love the NBA. I'm going to watch the games. But in some ways, I disregard that whole stupid-ass word Emiratis on the fucking tournament. Seriously. All right, let's keep going. James is here. Good to see Raptor Freak James. Without Trey, they are a better defensive team, all plus defenders in their starting five. That's an interesting way of looking at it. That's an interesting way of looking at it. Trey in some ways is a good stealer. He's a very good, kind of on the ball defender where he steals stuff, but he gambles. And he does get, because he's small and weak, he can get exposed for that physicality aspect of himself. But, the experience and the long career of Trae Young in some ways is a very beneficial thing. But there may be something to what James is saying, that the Hawks are a better defensive team with Trae Young out. And I mean, the trade machines are revved up right now, and Trae Young's getting put into trade machines with Ja Morant and stuff like that. Could there be just a straight up trade with Atlanta and Memphis where Trae Young becomes a Grizzly and Ja Morant is the new franchise player of the Hawks? I don't know, Landry Fields. You figure that out. Landry, former Raptor. That's right. Ingram made a couple of tough middies. Yeah, he's so much fun to watch. He really is. All right, let's go ahead and start doing the stars of the game for the Raptors game last night, since we kind of covered the 9:05 now. Brandon Ingram is my number one star of the game. That's a little controversial. I could have picked Emmanuel like the Darko did with the chain, but I just felt like the contribution of Brandon was right away in the game. He hit the first basket for us right away, and he was one of the most steady guys in the first half when we were struggling. In some ways, he carries us through the first half to get to the chance to win in the second half. Without Brandon being the supreme talent he is with his isolation and his mid-range, in some ways, we don't keep up with the Hawks scoring-wise in the first half without him carrying. So I had to give him props for that. 35 minutes, 20 points. He had 6 rebounds, 4 assists, a steal and a block, only 2 turnovers, 7 of 19 from the field, shooting 37%. He didn't shoot as well as he normally does. But in some ways, it was the agitation of the Hawks of being around. 2 of 8 from 3, and he made all 4 of his free throws, a plus 17. Yeah, Brandon Ingram was my star of the game. And it really was because without him in the first half, we don't get set up to win the second half because he had to carry us when nobody else was doing stuff to help us. The second star is Emmanuel. I'm going to give Emmanuel quickly the second star because honestly, I was so happy to see Emmanuel hitting these shots. I was so happy to see Emmanuel do good things on defense. There was a point where they tried to post him, and he fronted the bigger Hawk. I think it was Jalen Johnson or Dyson Daniels. I'm not totally sure. But Emmanuel had a very effective defensive stand when he was all by himself immediately under the basket with a bigger Hawk, and it could have gone way bad. But his expertise of fronting the player and getting the ball in between the ball and that player got a turnover, and we got the ball and went the other way instead of him getting scored on by a bigger guy. So kudos to that, Emmanuel. I'm seeing the little things, the stuff the shadow box score shows, but not on the regular box score, the intangibles. And I love the sudden shots. I mean, they look real good when Emmanuel just steps into it and he makes a long 3, and it's very sudden. Very powerful weapon for us. And we want him to be successful. We want him to make these shots. So stop hating on Emmanuel, Raptors Nation. His success is our success. And we want him to be as good as he can be. We don't want to sewer him. We don't want him to go anywhere. People that just hate him because you just want to hate him, that's stupid. You should love all the Raptors because loving them and seeing them have success as a team, as individuals, is good for us, all of us. And when they fail, we fail with them. So anybody who's dissing Raptors and saying, oh, I hate Emmanuel, I'm so sick of him. Fuck that. You want him to be successful because his failure hurts us and his success helps us. Seriously. So Emmanuel, 34 minutes, 18 points. That's one of his best outputs so far. 5 rebounds. He's a very good rebounding guard, and it's an underrated part of his game that nobody's talking about enough. 6 assists, along with 2 turnovers. So a 6-to-2 turnover ratio. That's not bad. 3 steals also for Quickly. 5 of 11 from the field at 46%. That's very, very acceptable shooting percentage, guys. And 3 of 7 from 3. 5 of 6 at the free throw line, a +5 for IQ in this win last night over Atlanta. My third star is Jakob Poeltl. I picked Poeltl because he was very efficient. And he's still kind of on a minutes restriction, but he got 25 minutes this time. And, he was really key late on cleaning up possessions defensively. He just wiped the boards for the last quarter. Like in some ways, Atlanta, some of their strength was offensive rebounding and getting on the boards and getting second chance shots. Well, Jakob closed that shit up in the fourth quarter. He was very, very concentrated on get the boards and stopping their possessions. And I appreciate him for that. Him and Scotty have both given a commitment to getting the defensive rebounds to end possessions more and more in the last few games. And Jakob's looking more and more like his regular self. He really is. 12 points for Yak and 10 rebounds, a double-double for Guy, including 3 offensive rebounds. He had an assist, a steal, and a block, and 2 turnovers. He was 4 for 5 from the field and 4 of 4 at the free throw line. I love that he made all of his free throws, and he is +6. We want Yak to score more. In some ways, just like Brandon, he's kind of like an emergency kind of valve at the end of a shot clock. The shot clock's going down, and we need a good shot at the end of it. Well, there's a couple of guys on our team that are good options to try and make that last second shot. Brandon's one of them. Yak can be one of them too, with a little push shot. Just get it to him in the lane. He can just throw it in. I wrote him a message last night on his Facebook. He always posts a victory or a defeat post talking about the game for the night. And I told him, I said, your rebounding was so key late. But, one of the things we want to see, Yak, is you more aggressive shooting. In some ways, yeah, we got Brandon, we got RJ, we got Scotty. But when we have Jakob scoring too, like we did last year, it adds a whole other dimension of things that the other team has to worry about and their defense. And I love Yak in the push shots and any kind of like aggressive going towards the basket where he's dunking or laying it up is always good. So I know he's still getting his legs under him and he's still getting his rhythm coming back from injury, but his offense needs to be opened up again. And it's not that he needs to score like 20 points or anything. I just want him to see his shot attempts, get his shot attempts, and to, have that kind of like that battle effect where in some ways it's like, look, this is something you have to respect other team is our big man will start killing you guys offensively at any time if y'all don't respect him. And that's really like up to the Raptors to read the mismatches or the defensive weakness that they're not going to stop Yak and getting him the ball and letting him go to work. So, yeah, I like Jakob Poeltl last night. It was a solid game, and he's moving way better. The back doesn't look as bad. And he was really important on Porzingis last night. He was very important. My 4th star is RJ. I've kind of already gone over what I saw with RJ, where he struggled at the beginning, missing a lot of shots. In some ways, in the first half, I was saying this is the game where RJ may look not as good. And I hope that Raptors fans will give him some allowance to be human and not absolutely perfect all the time, because he has been very perfect this year so far, but maybe he wasn't as perfect in the first half last night. So yeah, RJ, 33 minutes, 19 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 turnover, 7 of 15 from the field. So he cleaned it up by the end of the game. Even if he had a lot of misses in the first half, he had a lot of makes in the second half. And that was awesome. 2 of 6 from 3, made all 3 of his free throws. Once again, you got to love it when Pirtle and Barrett at the free throw line are 7 for 7 together. That's a good thing. But yeah, RJ, you're awesome, man. And you play with your heart on your sleeve, just like AJ. RJ and AJ are real ones for their city, and they play for something deeper in some ways. My 5th star of the game last night is Sandro Mamu. Sandro Mamu off the bench, another solid bench game, 2 games in a row. 21 minutes for Sandro, 12 points, 6 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 0 turnovers, 5 of 9 from the field. He made 1 3. He was 1 for 2 at the free throw line, a +7. Sandro's just been very active. Sandro's been very useful with stirring the drink of our offense. And he's also been a good big body and very active on the boards to help us out. So I appreciate Sandro. Honorable mention to Scott. It's not that I want to diss Scott or anything. I'm not dissing Scott, but I felt like he got into this game late. In some ways, the first half, he was maybe doing a lot of intangibles in the shadow box score. But in some ways, he wasn't aggressive enough to try and score in the first half. And it was crazy the amount of points he had at almost the end of the third quarter. But he cleaned it up by the end of the game and got 14 in 35 minutes with 10 rebounds also, 3 offensive rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks, and 0 turnovers. Scotty was actually really, really good. It's just that in some ways, he's a glue guy. He's an intangible guy. He's a winning guy. And in some ways, it's like I may take him for granted on some of this level of stuff, even though he's playing at an extremely high level right now. Yes, 5 of 16 may be the biggest thing that kept him off my list, is that he took a lot of shots and he was 31% from the field. So, yeah, but he made all 4 of his free throws. So Scotty Barnes, honorable mention as far as the top stars of the game. Yeah, so good stuff, man. I'll go over the rest of the guys real quick while I have the box score up. Jamison Battle, in some ways, it's a very interesting ploy what he's being used as. In some ways, this is brilliant, guys. Y'all wanted Jamison to just play a whole lot. Well, let's say, all right, we're in trouble in the third quarter, and we are down. And, well, we need a game shifter. You bring Battle out, and he just changes the gravity of the floor immediately, because the scouting report's out on him, and they know that they really can't disrespect him. They have to go and guard him. And in some ways, that's an instant way to open things up for everybody on the floor, even if he doesn't shoot a damn ball. And that's what happened last night. Jamison didn't score last night, but in the 6 minutes he was out there, he had a dramatic effect. He did get a very cool steal at one point, and he showed that he's useful on defense and rebounding and being active, tipping balls and helping get rebounds, But the thing with him was just the presence. And it is cool that it was Battle Dick formation. When it's both Jamison and Grady out there, that is a really interesting way to spread the floor instantly. And it really does open up for the other guys that are out there with them to get to the lane and do all kinds of stuff. And if they get double down or collapse on, well, there's Jamison in the corner. That easy 3 for him. And then like we said in the call with Kareem earlier, that, that spreading of the floor in that period when Jamison came out, Grady was the beneficiary of it because he was the other side and he nailed his 3 when he got that chance. So I like this ploy. I don't necessarily care if Jamison Battle plays for 30 minutes. I want him to have an effect of winning, and him just being out there to change the dramatics of the court with the gravity. That's a huge thing. And he didn't even score, y'all. And testament to Darko weaponizing Battle in that kind of way. I think that this pattern works, and I think he should continue to do this. And it could very well be that opponents start gauging, well, this is what the Raptors have been doing. If they're down by 10 or something like that in the third, they're bringing Jamison in, and we need to scout for this. But I think this is a very interesting thing because in some ways it doesn't matter if he's successful, if he hits shots, just his presence out there is having a huge effect. I love that. Colin Murray Boyles was the guy who pissed me off the most last night. He's a rookie. I've got to give him grace. In some ways, he's going to fuck up left and right in rookie mistakes. He's going to miss assignments. He's not going to understand exactly what he's capable of doing and what he can do in each moment and optimizing what he can do. But he hurt us last night. He was absolutely hurting us last night. with losing defensive assignments and all kinds of other things. He was kind of getting a little bit over his head in the water just last night, But this is normal for a first-year player. This is normal for a rookie. Rookies are going to make rookie mistakes. Rookies are going to screw up in different places. It was nice to see him hit that 3 in the corner. That was very much a drive and kick to hit him in the corner, and that was nice. But yeah, that was the only shot he made. He got 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 blocks, and 2 turnovers. So there was some good defense in there, but the effect of Colin was more negative than positive in some ways on the court. Like we were losing when he was out there. He was a +5, but in some ways we were losing in some ways that we couldn't afford anymore. And at a certain point in the second half, I was like, Darko, take him out for the rest of the game. You don't need to play him for the rest of the game. If you want to be serious about winning this game, you can't afford to have Murray Boyles out there causing unnecessary rookie mistakes just because he's so green. If we want to be serious about winning this game, I don't want to see the rookie out there in the crunch time minutes. And he didn't do that. And testament to Darko to not put us in that position with that. You take him out, and we don't have any rookie mistakes that can fuck us up in the last 5 minutes of the game when it's close. In some ways, that's the hierarchy I want. I don't like totally putting rookies in those situations immediately, like Shed and Walter and Scotty and Grady have been in the past, because in some ways you're giving them an opportunity to fail, and it could be a confidence hurt. In some ways, you want to build these guys up over time and make them feel more confident and capable at different times of the game. But in crunch time at the end of the game, you don't want Colin out there just in case he will miss a defensive assignment, and it's a huge blown defensive assignment, and the other team's taking the lead all of a sudden and the momentum, and all of a sudden we're getting an L. So that was really smart of Darko to bench Colin Murray Boyles last night late. He's just young. He's got to learn. And over time, he won't have those mistakes, and he will get that crunch time. But all in its right order is what I'm saying. Jamal Shed didn't score last night, but he got a rebound and 2 assists and a steal and only 1 turnover, 0 for 3, all 3-point shots, a +7 regardless. Jacoby Walter had his worst game of the season so far. He looked lost. He looked a little bit misstepping. He didn't look right last night. He's had a certain level of energy and confidence so far this season, even if he's not scoring a lot, that was just kind of a baseline, but he didn't have it last night. And in some ways, that's just how it goes sometimes. The biorhythm may be a little off on certain nights. So Walter, 6 minutes, 0 points. He got a steal, but he did have 2 turnovers also. So a net loss on Jacoby and Colin last night to me. Yeah, Grady was good. Grady is an honorable mention. Also with Scotty, 13 minutes, 11 points. You got to love the points to minutes ratio. 13 minutes, 11 points. You got to love that with Grady. That's an important stat. 1 rebound for Grady, 1 steal. He was 3 of 7 from the field, including 3 of 4 from 3. And he made both his free throws a +7. So not bad. Not bad at all. I liked all that. Oshai didn't get in the game. Oshai was a DMP last night. In some ways, we got to realize that that's just going to happen. I think some people were saying we want to play Oshai instead of Jacoby or something like that. We just got to let Darko play the piano, and whoever he's going to play, he's going to play. On the other side of things, we'll give a note for a couple guys on the other side. See, they had 4 guys in double digits on the other side. Normally, the Hawks, to win this season, have to have 7 or 8 guys in double digits because it's really a balanced attack. And Dyson Daniels can't shoot threes. I'm just saying. You should let him shoot threes all day because he'll miss them. And really, Vit Krejci was a factor off the bench. He was really annoying in the first half. He was very physical and all over the place kind of player, and he was disruptive to our offense. Krejci. Okongwu, also same thing off the bench. He was annoying too. But yeah, Jalen Johnson, 21 points, a -9. Yeah, nothing too super special. I don't think, he had a better stat line than Scott, but the outcome was Scott won. And that's the thing that matters, Dominique Wilkins. That's what I say right there. That's right. Nickel, 20 points, 7 of 14 shooting. And he was interesting. He was very good in the first half, Nickel Alexander-Walker. But yeah, good stuff by the Raptors, getting the in-season tournament win over the Hawks last night. It's a big, big deal. Yeah, let's keep going. Let's keep going in here. Isaac's saying Bird to comment. Yes, Bird to comment. BI third to comment. Yes, you are the third person to comment. This is a really bad dad joke by a dad who lives in Ottawa. Yeah, this is why I get it now. BI third to comment, meaning you're the third person to comment. Oh my gosh, that took too long for me to figure out, or I'd give you a dunk. James is saying this: Raps offensive rating 117.2, 12th in the league. Defensive rating 113.7. Hang on, it jumped. I want to make sure 10th in the league. Yeah, our rankings are pretty good, and we're changing on the Roddenberry quadrant graph. We're moving more over with the offense, and the defense is coming up too. And this is the thing. The Raptors offense right now is the best the offense has been since the championship year. Yeah. Yeah. Better than any time period with Siakam and Fred and Anunoby. We never had this efficient of offense and capable of offense until right now. And it is Ingram. It's Ingram. It's just straight up Ingram. And I love this because we've had a hard time as an offensive team near the end of Nick Nurse's career with us. And Darko, it hasn't been totally smooth yet, but it's starting to come around right now. And I love that. I love that, man. Nako's saying this: Hawks were good defensively. Was not feeling RJ that first quarter. He really turned it on. Yeah, he's not going to be perfect all the time. And he worked through it, and he didn't let it get him down. And he came through with a very good game in the end anyway. And he definitely was helping us in the fourth quarter. There was a lot of tough baskets he made. He had a 3-point play where he got fouled and made the free throw. He had a 3 that was important late in the game too. So it's like he was, RJ wasn't doing so well in the beginning of the game. Brandon was, but at the end of the game, RJ was carrying kind of in the fourth quarter. Brandon was carrying in the first half. RJ kind of carried in the fourth quarter. And that was important. Nago's saying VJ, Maxey, and Embiid are doing good. Okay. All right. I don't care. We're going to kick their ass tonight. They ain't all that. It's Joel Embiid. Come on, man. G's here. Good to see G. Happy for IQ. RJ is relentless, whether his shot is falling or not. Scotty is showing maturity and doing whatever it takes to win. Yak, even if not 100%, his impact. Good game for Grady. Yeah, I thought it was a good overall team effort. And, these guys are together. They understand the assignment. It's fun. In some ways, it's like, it's fun for each one of the individuals from their path and what's going on. Like Brandon, he had to be so sad being hurt for most of last year. And it's just he's relishing in being like in the NBA and being relevant again. Like in some ways, it's like these Raptors are going to be relevant this year to the NBA. The Pelicans, the last few years for him, not totally relevant in certain ways. And in some ways, Brandon's going to enjoy that. Scotty's enjoying the new challenges of being the franchise leader and the franchise, like the team captain and the things that he has to do. And some of the assignments for Scotty are things that Raptors Nation don't even understand because they're intangibles, they're shadow box score stuff, and he's doing them. And in fact, I see him excelling more and more like a team defensive leader, like Ben Wallace, like Tim Duncan, more and more every game. You see the second effort he's putting in the lane with physicality around him. And you see him playing more like a big boy, more and more. And that stuff I love, especially the second and third effort putback shots that he's getting off offensive rebounds. That's important that he does that stuff. Because in some ways, it's like that shows that he's really getting after it. And like I said, when he was a younger player, he'd just give up on one attempt. And that would be a problem. One of the things I'm going to see the Raptors get better on is execution. There's certain things the Raptors are not executing exactly right on still, and they're still winning, which is crazy. And those are things like what I was just talking about. If you get down near the basket, Scott, and you get a low post shot or a little baby hook or a little turnaround and stuff like that, if you don't make it, go and execute it by going and getting the second shot. And you have been doing that to a degree. But that execution has to happen there. There has to be an execution of hitting open shots. There's some Raptors that are getting open shots and they're not totally hitting them. There has to be execution in securing the rebound. There's too many rebounds that get in the mid-range, like on the other side, and we're in the offensive. The team's getting offensive rebounds against us. There's a weird no man's land between near the basket and the three-point line where the ball's caroming out, and we're standing around watching it. There was a period of time in the second quarter where the Raptors were doing more spectating than participating. And you got to get off your feet and go. You can't just stand there and watch the Hawks come and get the loose balls and run around and do whatever you want. No, you have to be engaged and you have to be active yourselves and getting after it. And that's part of the reason why Darko said we weren't playing our style of ball in the first half is because there was some standing around at certain points and watching and not actively participating, So it's like I want to see them execute the close shots and make sure they go in. Execute on fast breaks. We're seeing fast breaks where we should have numbers and we should get a points. But we're not getting anything. We got numbers and we're on fast break. We're one of the worst teams at finishing on the break last year. We need to improve this. We need to make sure we're taking all of our fast break opportunities and converting, executing. We need to execute also on closeouts, on defensive closeouts and defensive things. We need to execute on boxing out and getting the rebounds and limiting the offensive rebounds. So there's some level of execution that the Raptors still need to dedicate themselves to be fully their potential, because they're not executing on everything exactly right yet. And those were some of the categories that I see that they aren't right there. Finishing on the fast break, boxing out and rebounding. Yeah, these are things they need to execute on. That's right. Let's see. G saying BI's a pure bucket getter. This is just the beginning for him. I agree with this. There's all kinds of potentials with him playing off the other guys, and also potentials for him to do amazing things for us in situations that are going to be coming up this season, as far as taking it home and helping us win. And it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. Like I said, man, when you have a player like Vince or Kawhi or Brandon on your team has a little bit more confidence, a little bit more swagger, that they're coming in with one of the best players on the court, and that you know what it is. Like when we had Kawhi on our team, there was a certain level of swagger and aura to our team that's a little bit different. And it is partly like, how it is. Like you go to a street ball game and there's one dude who's absolutely the best guy out there. He could even be a former college player, or maybe even got a taste of the NBA. And you're like, man, I want to be on that guy's team, because you're going to have the confidence that you have the best player on the court. And in some ways, Brandon gives us that swagger to a degree. There's a little bit of an uptick in our confidence overall because Ingram is on our roster and he's active. I'm just saying, man. It's right there. Isaac's got a cool emoticon parade. He's got Scotty, fire, a trophy, the Raptor, basketball, a muscle, a brain, growing something, plunger, a unicorn, and what is that last thing? A wing. Okay, I like that. I think I understand your knowledge of your communication. And you're saying that Scotty's going to take off and be successful and get all the accolades because he's a unicorn. Wait, that's weird. G saying Raptors 905 blew them out. Yeah, it was nasty. It was hard to watch both games. I put most of my focus on the Raptors game, and I kept the 905 game's audio up and listened to them calling the game. And it was tough. It was really hard to watch both games. And I don't know why they haven't released the highlights of the 905 game. I wish they would. Maybe somebody didn't even film them or put them together. Can we get the highlights of the 905 game last night so I can review them and kind of see some of this? Because I didn't get to watch the game as closely as I'd like to, seeing as both games were on at 7:30. So, yeah, it was a blowout. That's for sure. Kareem saying this. Oh, my God, it's happening. Steve Carell's voice. The Raptors are slowly putting shit together. And when you have a natural comeback, when you keep chipping away, shows growth. Let's get these Sixers tonight. That's right. I like that. You wanted me to do a Steve Carell voice? I don't really know. Do I do Michael Scott? Michael Scott. I don't know if I've ever done Steve Carell. Steve Carell's weird. I don't really think of his voice and how he would be. I guess maybe I should think about a Steve Carell impression. He's an impressionist himself. So it's always hard to do because he's like that. I don't know. I'm going to have to think of that. I've never thought of what my Steve Carell voice is. I've never practiced it. Nameless is here, our Italian plumber friend. Not named Mario or Luigi. It's Nameless. He has no name. And maybe he's in the warp zone of 8-4, just about to go into Bowser's castle. I don't know, and finish the game. I don't know where he's at right now. Having Yak back relatively healthy again has certainly solidified things, although he's certainly not even close to 100% efficiency yet. Yeah, he has a rhythm timing that he has to still get into, but he's looking way better. Like in these last couple games, it's starting to show it. The thing that's most important is he's effective defensively and rebounding right now. The stuff I was saying earlier about his offense, that's a cherry on top thing. That's a luxury on top of things. In some ways, we don't need to depend on Jakob for offense this year, but I'm telling you, that's a good weapon to practice and flex and keep well oiled, so that we can utilize it as the season goes on as just another thing that just is a headache for other coaches. You know, like I'd love to see us do some stuff with Yak tonight against Embiid and maybe try and get Embiid in foul trouble. You know what I'm saying? Like throw it into Yak, maybe do some IQ Yak pick and roll stuff, and maybe we can get somebody in foul trouble or get some mismatch that way. You know what I'm saying? Kareem's saying our Q Scotty get back game from 2021 playoffs. Yeah. You know, Philadelphia, Joel Embiid stepped on Scott's leg in a playoff game a long time ago in Scotty's rookie year. We went to the playoffs against the Philadelphia 76ers and lost in the first round. And that was a tough series, but Scotty learned a lot about the NBA already in that first year. And yeah, there's still some payback. I mean, it's obvious, like with Nick Nurse across from us, we have to beat these guys. And this is an important game. And I'm sure Scotty gets up for Coach Nurse. I'm sure he does. Name is saying this. I wonder if Ja secretly desires a change of scenery or may benefit from one in the same regard as BI. I said this the other day, Nameless. I said, Ja probably, you know, some of these rumors to Toronto are really weird. It's like, I wonder if his own people are putting this shit out, because Toronto's been a very focused spot. I know they're talking about all kinds of teams, Ja Morant possibilities, but it seemed like there was a bit of a focus, Ja Morant to Toronto, very heavy when Memphis was in town last week. And I don't know. It could be very well that his group, his people, have kind of a list of desirable spots for him next. I'm going to tell you this right now. That man's in trouble, because there's a lot of buzz around the league that nobody's interested in these problem guys right now. That the trade market and the value of Ja Morant is absolutely not as good as some of the casuals and the people that were pumping him up around our channel were last week. The GMs just don't even want the headache. They see that he's a mess, and it totally hurts his value. He totally killed his career on his own. And I'm hearing the same things about Trey, though, too. That there's not people that are like very enticed to try and trade for Trey Young, and maybe even Zion. There's a couple of these guys that are like supposedly top players in the league, but nobody actually wants to trade for them. That says a lot right there. That's right. G saying Chomche was at the 905 game. Yeah. I wasn't sure if he was at first. When Kareem was saying that in our chat last night, I was like, are you sure you're not getting Chomche confused with Reese? With Reese? Because he does kind of look like Chomche a little bit in the face. And he's not as big as Chomche, but they're similar build. I was like, are you sure he's there? He's like, no, man, he's there. And then he showed the picture on Discord. I was like, holy shit, he is there. He's sitting in the front row at the Raptors 905 game. And I don't know what to read of that. In some ways, it's like, if he really wanted to get the hell out of here, he's free. He doesn't have to be here. Well, he's here still. So that says a lot right there. In some ways, hey, Shamshay, I love you, man. Thank you for being in Mississauga last night. That's what I'm going to say right now. Name is saying Ja's looking like a juicy, easy mark for cats like Bobby Webster. No, we don't want him, Nameless. I don't know if you've watched the streams during the week. I know you're a weekend guy because you're off and you can be here, but during the week you can't. No, I've almost banned John Morant's name from this chat because too many people are coming in here talking stupid shit about us trying to get him. We don't need him on this team. He's a dead end. He would fuck our team up. You think he's going to help anybody win at this point? No, he's a headache. What did I hear recently? The Finnish coach came up to him and said, this is hilarious. Listen to this shit. And whether you want him on our team or not. Ulusu or whatever his name is, the Finnish coach, this coach in the Grizzlies, came up to Ja and said, Ja Morant, I think you could really help us start winning again if you became more of a team player and you stopped making so many distractions and started sacrificing for the team and putting the team first. That's all he asked him. What did Ja do? He said, fuck you, coach. You don't tell me what to do, and I'm unhappy being here. Does that sound like somebody you want on your team? Seriously, the coach came to him like a coach is supposed to, and the coach's job is to say, Ja, we're pleading with you. We'd like you to sacrifice for the team and be more of a team player and do things for the team to win. What is his reaction? It's not, okay, coach, I'm going to try and do better and be a team player. No, he's like, fuck you. You don't tell me what to do, and I hate you, and I'm even more distant from you at this point. You don't want that kind of player on your team. I don't give a shit if he can jump like he has no gravity on the moon. I don't give a shit. That motherfucker is a horrible player to have on your team. He's been a dead end for the Grizzlies this whole time. And it's just sad, honestly. He has all the talent in the world. He could have been the face of the league if he wasn't such an idiot. He seriously could have been the face of the NBA. But he's dropped the ball on all that. We don't want anybody like this. You're saying juicy target for Bobby? Hell, fuck no. Bobby Webster's smarter than this, nameless. You put him down when you think he's stupid enough to get Ja Morant. Seriously. Nako's saying this. BI in isolation is so good within the flow of the offense. That's right. That's right. Nameless won't give this up. He's like, Bobby's thinking, give me that? No, he's not. He's not even thinking the least. We built so much in the last few years. We don't need anything to do with Ja Morant. And I'm shocked that you think that this is the right move, nameless. No disrespect, but this is a stupid idea. Seriously, this is a very dumb idea. And Bobby Webster is not thinking that. Give me that. No, he's not. In some ways, he's probably like, yeah, that's a dumpster fire. We're good. We've got Brandon. We've got everything set up. We don't need to add no Ja Morant bullshit. So don't fall for this bullshit trade machine crap that's going on right now. Ja Morant is a dead end in this league, and he will be for the rest of his career. He's already damaged goods. His reputation is shitty, and his attitude is shitty. And he's not a team player. He's a very selfish dunk guy. And the sad thing is he didn't even do the dunk championship, and he should have. He may not even get a chance to at some point. He may be coming around and doing the dunk championship just to try and get more favor and popularity again because he's gone so far down with his bullshit. Seriously, this is not something he's saying, give me that. Yeah, only Canada can straighten Ja out. No, he can't even come here. Is he a felon? Is he allowed in this country? Did he come to the game last week? No, he didn't. I think on the down low, he may not even be allowed in our country. So it's a non-starter, nameless. I mean, we do have gun control laws. Come on now, nameless. That's right. If you ever want to restrict someone's actions, send them to Canada. I don't know about that. Seriously, they're restricting shit way more down the States at this point. Come on now. All right, nameless. I don't like how you're stepping in this so pro Ja Morant bullshit here. G's saying this. I knew they were going to win even when down. The reason being their composure, their confidence, and their relentlessness. I had no doubt they would come back and win. I had the feeling of it too. You could feel the game starting to change after halftime. And it really was that the Raptors had a recommitment to their defensive energy and doing things right. You couple that with the Hawks getting a little bit more tired in the second half because they're not as deep of a team. And the relentlessness of the Raptors and the turning up of our defense had a profound effect on turning the game and getting the outcome that we got. So that's a big part of it right there. Yeah. Nameless is saying last night was just a glimpse of this three-headed monster we will have every night. Insert player here because we have multiple guys capable of filling that need. Yeah, that's why we don't need Ja Morant. He's a headache. He's a distraction, and he would not help us. He would hurt us. It's a really bad idea. I can't believe you thought that, man. Seriously, come on now. Come on, Paisano. Come on, man. Neil's saying this. Good to see Neil. Raptors must respect their opponent by being fully prepared for them. Teams have length, height, and speed, so don't treat your opponent like they are a walk in the park. Be fully engaged for 48 minutes. You know, there's a lot of the reasons why we didn't have as good a first half last night as we could have. Like I said, their length was very disruptive. And they're athletes. They're very athletic. In the beginning, they're going to run around like gazelles and do all this shit that the Hawks do. But in some ways, they didn't have guidance to win because they were missing Trae Young. And also, they kind of just ran out of gas at a certain point. There's only a certain level of athletic talent that will carry you certain places. And I mean, I'm saying this over and over again. The Hawks are going to be, I don't know how they're going to be without Trae. Like this year, I want to say that I don't think that they'll be out of the playoffs. I think they'll be a play-in team. I think they'll be a play-in team by the end of the year. That's what I'm thinking. Trevor's saying this. We have the same record as the Sixers, 5-4. Yeah, we need to beat them and go 6-4, and they can go 5-5. That's what I want to see. Mischief's here. Good to see the base man. Raptors are on a 4-game winning streak. First time since 2025. Let the good times roll. Number one thing Raptors should guard is Maxey, averaging 31 points per game, 47% from three, and 41 minutes. Nurse maxing out on Maxey. That's funny. I like that. I like that comment. I like the baseman's little report here. I'm going to give you a dunk, Jay. Yeah, I like that mischief. Yeah, I get what you're saying here, man. I get what you're saying. I think that Maxey should be the focus of what the Raptors are trying to stop tonight because he is really the engine that drives the Sixers at this point. You know, we can, you know what, in some ways we should let them go to Embiid. Let them go to Embiid and really cover up Maxey because in some ways using Embiid to try and win is absolutely sometimes a fail. So who knows? I don't know if Embiid's even going to be playing. We'll have to see. Nameless saying, I believe the Raptors starting five has the ability to become the most dynamic in the entire league. I agree with that. I think especially if Emmanuel starts shooting better and better, and his whole dimension of impromptu, just out of the blue, 3-point shots going in is very rattling to teams to a degree. And, they're all very different. That's the great thing about their strength is they're all very different. RJ, Scotty, and Brandon as 20-point scorers are all very different. And then you got a true point guard and a true center running things with them. Yeah, that's a nice lineup. That's a nice lineup right there. Naka saying Hawks are Vision 6'9". Without Trey, they are. That's right. Raptors 2026 champions. All right. Toronto Raptors, NBA champions 2026. Speaking into existence, Raptors freaks. Toronto Raptors, NBA champions 2026. Why not? Let's just fucking say it. If the East is open and somebody's going to get to the finals, let's give it a good shot. Toronto Raptors, NBA champions 2026. Why not? Why are we waste time? Let's go fucking do it. That's right. Let's win the in-season tournament and then win the championship. It'd be cool if we win the in-season tournament because we'd be one of 3 teams that have won a championship and the in-season tournament in the last 6 years, joining the Lakers and the Bucks. Yeah, I mean, we want to get that feather in our cap at some point, right? We want the Raptors to win the in-season tournaments to say that we have. And that way we can even say, yeah, we got a G League championship with Siakam in 2017. We got a Raptors first NBA championship in 2019. And we get the in-season tournament championship this year. That's a pretty good little hat trick of 3 different things with the Raptors organization. I'm just saying. That's right. Isaac Campbell saying 2026 NBA champions, Toronto Raptors. That's right. He said Raptors champions 2028. That's what he said first. See, I'm with Isaac already. That's right. Nameless saying this. I think the Raptors are going to start knocking on the Eastern Conference door immediately. Oh, yeah. It's all opened up for us. Where's Boston? Where's Indiana? New York, maybe the best team in the East. We'll have to see. We'll have to play them and see what's up. Cleveland, we've already got a 1-0 record against Cleveland. We're supposed to be near the top. All these other teams they want to anoint with us, Detroit, Atlanta, Orlando. It's wide open. Milwaukee, I don't believe in them for the whole entire year. It's wide open. When I said the Raptors would be a top 3 Eastern Conference team, I meant that shit. And it's looking more probable at this point. Seriously, with Brandon involved, and if we have good health this year, there's no reason why we can't finish in the top 3 in the Eastern Conference. It is wide open, and it's anybody's game. And everything in the Eastern standings right now is all ready to be disrupted and shuffled around to a degree. It's not exactly the way it's supposed to be. It's going to change as the season goes on. I'm telling you right now. That's right. Isaac saying this, W to Kareem. I like that. Name is saying B.I. and Barrett are just fucking like that. Yeah, I'm with you. RJ especially. He's especially like that. Blackhawk saying today's marks our 10th game, and we are on a guarantee to be 500 or more by the end of the game. Well done, Raptors. Let's get 6 or more out of the next 10. This road trip, and we've got the first win on this road trip. I said I want to get 4 out of 5. Yeah, I only want to lose 1 game on this road trip, and I was penciling in either the game tonight because it's the second night of back-to-back, or when we go back to Cleveland. They're going to want revenge, and they're healthy. Their guys are back, and that game may be tough in Cleveland next week. So if we can win the other 3 games for sure, which are very winnable, it's Indiana and I think it's Indiana and Brooklyn. And then we could get 3 out of the 5 games at least, maybe 4 out of the 5 games on this road trip. That's what I'd like to see. We beat Nick Nurse and the Sixers tonight. Well, it's looking more and more like we get 4 out of 5. That's what I'm saying right there. I love it. Let's see. Name is saying if our squad got the respect from the officials that it actually deserves, if all things were fair and just, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. There were some weird calls last night. We'll do a little ref report, check in. The one weird call in the 905 game was that AJ Lawson had a breakaway dunk, and he dunked the ball, but it went a weird thing with the net, and it got caught in the net, and then it came back out of the top, and they called offensive goaltending, no basket. It's a really weird call. Very strange. One I've never seen in my entire life. He had a straight up dunk and he put it through the hoop, but it didn't go all the way through the net and it coughed back up out the top. And they called, it was really weird. I'd never seen that before. I don't know if that call was exactly right. And after the game, AJ felt pretty robbed by that. And everybody's kind of like, what is that? You guys have to check that play out. It was a very strange call by the refs. And Gina Catanzariti. Yeah, she was the one who called that. Now, last night, our crew, Zach Zarba, Scott Twardowski, and Sayesh Mehta. Well, let's give them their ref report grades for last night. Mehta was exactly how I said he would be. He was a dick. He was calling weird shit against us in weird places. Scott Twardowski and Zach Zarba, they did a challenge when Jakob called for the challenge. He was an out of bounds play, and Jakob was pretty sure that the Hawks had hit the ball off his hand to go out of bounds. But when Zarba and them went to look at it, we did not have a successful challenge. Now, that was interesting that Darko called that challenge because he didn't get confirmation from Eric Curry to call that challenge. Usually he would look behind at the bench and get Eric Curry to thumbs up and say, yeah, do it. No, he went blindly and called that challenge just off of Jakob doing his finger like this. And he was wrong. And in some ways, they tried to talk to Twardowski and the other guy, and Zarba about the call, and they just said no. In some ways, it was still off of his hand. Even if they pushed it off his hand, he was the last one who touched the ball when it went out. So they weren't successful in that challenge. That call could have been either way, though. Zach Zarba in some ways wasn't for the Raptors in that game. But what I would say is that doesn't matter because we won anyway. And they were a little underhanded at times last night with the reffing. And, there were times where Grady and Scotty were getting fouled and nothing was getting called. And Scotty got mad at one point. He was yelling at them at one point. We saw him getting mad at one point. Yeah. Yeah. But the refs overall, they didn't get in the way to stop us. But some people in the comments were saying, yeah, it was us versus the Hawks and the refs. Well, to a degree, that's kind of true. The refs were not trying to help us last night, but we overcame them just like we overcame the Hawks too. And that's what's important. And that's important that we have a good margin in the last 5 minutes of game, because you never, ever want the referees to help decide the game by some fucked up call at the end. And it's so close. 4-point margins used to be good enough to win in this league and hold people off, but not anymore. In some ways, you do need a 10-point lead because the refs, like I've heard Tim Donaghy talk about this, the disgraced gambling betting referee, Tim Donaghy. He said that within 10, the refs can manipulate who they want to win in the end of the game. He said that blatantly. So it's really, really important that if the Raptors don't want the refs to decide the game, you need to decide the game by making the lead too big for them to fuck with, is basically what I'm saying. And they did a good job. It was close, though, because that game was very close, but they did a good job in the fourth quarter, getting that cushion, that 100% maple syrup, a Canadian maple syrup, and getting a little bit of a good little cushion. Because you don't want them to figure it out. You don't want them to, the refs to have that power and try and direct Adam Silver's NBA storylines, because let's not get it twisted. They don't want the Raptors to be 2-0 in this group play right now and the top of Group A and looking like they're going to Vegas. They were penciling in Cleveland for this one. And in some ways, they're screwed on that already because we've already beaten Cleveland. And if we win out in this group, we're going. And the only way they get Cleveland to get there also is the point differential as a wild card. They did have a huge game last night, though. Cleveland kicked, I think it was Washington's ass, absolutely kicked their ass and got a huge point differential. So the Raptors need to make sure they beat the Wizards and the Pacers in these last two in-season tournament games, because if they do catch one loss, it could be point differentials that fucks them up from actually getting to Vegas. So they do need to take care of business in these next two still. That's right. Name was saying, but then again, if my aunt had a blank, she'd be my uncle. Okay, that's interesting. I don't know what that means exactly. Neil's saying this. RJ has shown he will be in the top 3 of whatever team he plays on. Zion, Ja, and RJ. BI, Scotty, and RJ. Even on Knicks, RJ was the top 3. Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying, Neil. I don't understand this exactly. I mean, yeah, okay. Water's wet. Nate was saying, I used to hate playing against RJ. Hate. And now he's on my favorite team. I didn't even want RJ around or in the same room. BI is the most efficient scorer in the game. Gary Trent Jr. was not. It's a really weird comparison that Nako brought up those two guys because they're totally different levels of players. I mean, Gary Trent Jr. is a almost a starter, maybe sometimes a bench player. He's a role player. And Brandon is a high level scorer, go-to guy, and a franchise player. So it's like you can't really compare them. They're not the same kind of player level at all. It was a weird comparison. I just felt like it was like, we can't do this. Mo's here. Good to see super fan Monique Lawrence. I'm sure she's enjoying the double victory from last night. She was doing double duty with us too. I saw her in the 905 chat with us and also watching the Raptors game at the same time. It's tough to watch both games and catch it all, isn't it, Mo? But man, what a sweet night. I want to say this, and this is exemplified by the super fan Monique Lawrence, is that the big difference in the victories of the Raptors over the Hawks teams last night, in some ways, is organization. There's a certain level of how we carry ourselves as the Raptors organization that comes through. And that's why we rout the Skyhawks with a 36-point win in Mississauga last night. There's a certain level of attention to detail and professionalism and doing things the right way to get the game plan to win the game against the Hawks in Atlanta last night. And that, in some ways, is a testament to our franchise and the quality of what Masai Ujiri and Bobby Webster built together with Dwayne Casey, Kyle Lowry, and DeMar DeRozan, that this is our identity. That in some ways it's like, look, we're not a shitty team. We have a quality. And in some ways, our quality carries in a way like this, where we get a double victory. And Monique Lawrence is the epitome of the quality that we're talking about within the Raptors organization. That's what I say right there. That's right. Good morning, Raptor Free Crew. Can I just say Elijah Martin don't want to be with the 905? Yeah, he came out gangbusters right away, bombing those threes, and he had some really nice highlights. It looked like he was really kind of toying with the Skyhawks to a degree last night. In some ways, this is the stuff he needs to do to show that he does not belong on that level. And, well, he had a good first night to show some truth to that. He really did. Neil's saying this, RJ has always been the third wheel on most teams except for Team Canada. On Team Canada, he's number 2. I put Dylan behind him. Dylan's not one of the main options. Dylan's a role player as a defender and a specialized toughness guy. If Dylan Brooks is doing things for offense to help Team Canada win, that's just gravy on top right there. No, the hierarchy is SGA into RJ, and if Jamal Murray's around, he's the third one, right? So that's kind of the way it looks at that one right there. That's right. Michael's here. Good to see Michael. Thank you for subscription. He's saying, yep. He hears it. He's saying it. Yeah, amazing wins. I love it. Name is saying it was criminal to deny IQ that 4-point play. Just one more way they shit on us. Yeah, I'm glad that you brought this up. That play with IQ was ridiculous. The follow through was there, Scott Twardowski. Like, what the fuck was that? And the way Darko was looking at them after that play was hilarious. His facial expressions are hilarious sometimes. It's kind of like, what is this? It's kind of like a little girl in an 80s commercial where they're kind of like doing a taste test and they bring like one brand and it's the off brand, it's the no name brand, and it tastes awful. And she's like looking at them like, what are you doing? Don't give me that. Give me the real deal. Is what she kind of has, that attitude, a sassy little girl, you know, in a 80s commercial on whatever. Darko had that kind of look towards them after that. This didn't make any sense. He came up with the shot and he actually made it. That's the crazy thing. But some convoluted ways, Zach Zarba and Scott Twardowski were saying that he wasn't in his shooting motion yet, and the foul was on the floor. So he got 2 free throws. So this is another robbery right there, because he should have gotten 3 free throws from where he was. He made the shot, and he should have gotten 1 free throw, and it should have been a 4-point play. But yeah, that is a ref manipulation for sure. That was a fucked up call. You're exactly right, Nameless. That was fucked up. That was doo-doo. That's right. They didn't like how hard IQ celebrated and called it back. You know, IQ did a little bit of and all the guys on the bench are doing the little phone thing. Call me maybe. You know, once again, our guys are celebrating at the appropriate time and not getting ahead of things and celebrating before they won something or done something good. Y'all are on a 4-game winning streak now. So, Scotty, you go ahead and flex on Giannis if you want to. It looks way better now when y'all are winning. Looks way, way better now. That's right. Chucky. Yeah, Chucky is a stealing force, and 5 steals in his debut with the Raptors 905 last night is a beautiful thing. I like his answers to the press after the game, too. He's very grounded. He's very team-oriented. You know, Andrew Jones very much, and the rest of the guys in 905 saying, we are doing this to help the Raptors. Like, we are the team everything we do here is to help the Raptors. We want to have our guys prepared. We're mirroring them, and we're doing stuff. And that's what Chucky echoed. Chucky said, I've been so lucky and fortunate that I've gotten to work with Emmanuel and Jamal and learn from them. And I just want to keep striving and getting better and better. And I'm very happy, and I've been enjoying being on the Raptors. And some reporter said, we want to ask you how you like Canada. We ask everybody this. I'm like, okay, jabroni. He's already been asked this probably 10 times. He said, I love Canada so far, except for the traffic. I hate the traffic in Toronto. It's awful. And well, we can't get mad at him for saying that, right? He didn't say the cold. He didn't say customs. He didn't say, he said the traffic. Well, in some ways, that's the one you can't say. And everybody be like, yeah, he's right. Yeah, traffic is shitty. Can't get mad at him for that because it's just honest. He's like, he didn't say, I don't like the cold. Well, maybe he hasn't seen it yet, but we'll see. Chucky Hepburn, you're awesome. Chucky. That's right, Chucky. Michael's saying this. That is an example. No Emirates brand. They are terrible. Yeah. I mean, in some ways, look, I'm not a corporate channel. I'm not somebody who's trying to make a lot of money off my channel. I, in some ways, can have total free speech because in some ways, I don't care if I'm making money and I turn people off. This is a huge problem. It's just like that comedy festival they just had in Riyadh. There's just absolutely deplorable. And you can make any kind of mental gymnastics in your head, Bill Burr and Aziz Ansari, for the reason why you did that comedy festival. It doesn't change anything. That y'all are normalizing regimes that have human rights violations, and they are actively supporting conflicts in the African continent that are deplorable and it's genocidal and very disgusting. And in some ways, these powers that be that care about money and power will influence conflict in regions and cause all kinds of bad things to happen. And this is why we are not thrilled with Emirates Cup. This is why we're not thrilled with Israel. This is why we're not thrilled with a lot of different places around there that are, really subjugating peoples, certain groups, to absolute things like annihilation. And that's fucked up. That's fucked up. Listen, there's a lot of really horrible things going on in this world that we don't find out about in mass media because in some ways it's African people that, people should care about, but they don't talk about them. In some ways, it's like, it's messed up. The stuff that's going on in Sudan is really deplorable. And that's why in some ways it's like, Adam Silver, you're such a fuckface, man. Like, seriously, fix your gambling problems. And why the fuck do you get in bed with such horrible people like the Emiratis shit? Seriously, it's deplorable. Yeah, and even the ownership of the Dallas Mavericks is absolutely deplorable. The relationship with the NBA and China, in some ways, there's controversial stuff with that too. So it's like, I mean, any way to get a buck, Adam Silver, I guess. That's your whole fucking mentality, isn't it? That's right. Most thrilled for IQ. She's got her IQ jersey out. She got that beautiful Emmanuel Quickley signed red Raptors jersey at her birthday party a couple years ago. And she puts it on with pride, I'm sure, for the game right now. That's right. She puts it on with pride. That's right. Neil's saying we have to go up against the Wizards and Pacers in our next cup games. We need to remain undefeated, so take them seriously, Raptors. That's right. The Pacers are weakened. They're really having a tough time this year. I mean, they lost to the Nets. I mean, shit. I feel bad for Siakam, but fuck that. We need to beat them. We had a winning record against the Pacers last year, even though they went to the finals, and we were a 30-win team. So let's continue to beat the Pacers. And, well, it's the Wizards. Come on, guys. I don't care if they're getting better with Keyshawn George and Alex Sarr and different people they got coming. We need to beat the Wizards and the Pacers on our home court. And I'll be at one of those games. I'm going to the Indiana game myself. And I'll be going down there for that last one. And I'll hopefully be able to be part of the cherry on top of a 4-0 record in the in-season tournament. That's right. That's what I'm all about, man. Let's go. Neil's saying this. Trae Young is a phenomenal player that always finds a way to make boneheaded plays due to showboating. Yeah, I don't know, man. He's an interesting guy. Like, in some ways, the flaw in him is his size. In some ways, it's like he can be this amazing shooter. He can be all this and that. But at some point, you get exploited for who you are size-wise, Trae Young. And that's why I don't think he's a winning kind of player that would get to a championship. It's crazy. I mean, we have players like I named, Karl Malone and John Stockton, Charles Barkley, Patrick Ewing. These are great players that did not win championships in the NBA history. And honestly, they all were winning players that could have won it, but they didn't. And that's just how tough it is to win. It's like, seriously, I don't consider Karl Malone and John Stockton non-winning players. Those motherfuckers could have won it if Jordan wasn't in the league at that time. Seriously. Charles Barkley, same thing. Patrick Ewing, same things. These guys could have won championships. Maybe Patrick was in the way of himself. But the other guys, they all were winning players, and they all could have won championships in their career, but they didn't, because that's that damn hard to win championships in this league. So when you have a player that's got a flaw like Trae Young, I'm like, yeah, there's no way this motherfucker's going to win a championship ever. A person like Joel Embiid, yeah, he's never going to win a championship. First of all, because he can't stay healthy enough to make a playoff run deep enough to the championship to win it. And he's absolutely crucial for the Sixers to be successful. So it's just fool's gold. You guys can get all up about it. You could have a good season. You could make the playoffs. You could go deep in the playoffs. But in the Eastern Conference Finals, Joel Embiid goes down, and you're fucked for the rest of the playoffs, and you won't win a championship then. Seriously. There's just certain players that are just a fool's gold. A route is a dead end on investing and trying to have around your team to try and win with. And those are two names I will say, Trae Young and Joel Embiid. Those are two names right there. That's right. Michael's saying this. IQ has generally been a good defensive player. Scotty just posted something holding the We the North flag. That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, in the game opener at home against Milwaukee, Scotty ran out on the court with the We the North flag when they were introducing him, and he came out and he was waving it all around. I love that, man. He's a real one for our team, and that's why I want Raptors fans to be solidly behind him, because his loyalty is very, very strong for Toronto. You know, a lot of teams in this league would love to have Scotty Barnes, and they would probably jump on it if the opportunity comes. But we need to very much embrace and keep the idea of him being a lifelong Raptor and having Rodgers and MLSE to throw money at him every single level, because he's a winning player. He's an NBA player that will get championships. And Raptors fans need to realize that. And I would hate for us to lose him right when he's just at his peak and he's really priming out, because it's coming. And we deserve to have that happen here, guys, right? So let's stop dissing Scott and let's covet him, and let's start saying, you know, we love our franchise player. He's in with us. He's in with us as a real, true, bona fide person who really, truly cares about the Raptors. There were interviews that they had with him around the Blue Jays World Series, and they talked to Scott, and Scott cared about the Blue Jays in a way that really tells that, like, he's in for real with the Toronto City. It's like, seriously, he has no reason to give a shit about the Blue Jays. But when they asked him about the Blue Jays and their postseason run, Scott got sentimental. And he said, I want to do this with the Raptors too. And I really want to do this. And this city, I want to do this for the city. So understand that and honor that, Raptors Nation. And all these sloppy Barnes idiots, they're fucking talking all this shit about our best player, our franchise player. Y'all need to shut the fuck up and just get the fuck out of here, because you're not really fans. You're trolls. You're idiots. And you don't know basketball if you think Scotty's a bad player. You really don't know basketball if you think Scotty Barnes is a bad player. Sure, he could have gone that Ben Simmons route, because in some ways he is kind of a similar build as Ben Simmons. But no, he's not lazy like Ben. And he did the work, and he showed up, and he's been in the games, and he's changing and progressing as a player. And the vision that he shares with Rajakovic is glorious, guys. And when we see it, more and more, y'all are going to be like, yeah, this is a very, very important person. This may be the greatest Raptor of all time before it's all said and done, surpassing Kyle Lowry. So, yeah, I'm just saying, we got to respect Scott. And Michael, I appreciate you being in the chat today, man. I appreciate you, man. Superfan Mo saying 7 players in double digits. Credit to Darko. Yeah, I want to toot the horn of Darko. I'll say the good things about Darko. He didn't play Colin late. He put in Jameson as a distraction, and it was very effective. His rotations have been very solid. If he's in trouble and the team's kind of crumbling for a second and the other team's just about to start a run, he calls that timeout right away. He's not fucking around and waiting for the other team to build a huge lead and then calling it like Nick Nurse used to. No, Darko's on top of it. Somebody said the other day, I was waiting to get my truck, and I was talking to this guy in the weight room while they were servicing my truck at the Ford dealership. And I was talking to him, and he said, I don't know if I like Darko. I was like, why do you not like Darko? I was seriously, I want to try and win you over, is what I said to him. He said, well, I feel like he talks too much sometimes on the court. I was like, wait, what is that? Wait, why do you think that's a bad thing? Seriously, I'd much rather have my coach engaged and verbally involved in the game with the referees and the players and everything going on. I used to think that Nick used to sit back too much and watch too much and kind of just hang out. No, I like that Darko's constantly talking and getting involved. And then I pointed out to this guy that in the preseason, Darko drew up 2 fantastic last-second plays that were game winners. And they used guys that didn't even make the team Olivier Sarr and Jonathan did make the team. But that's really impressive. Like, if you want to understand how good Darko is, go look at those 2 games in the preseason that we won at the last second. And also understand that, like, we've had a turnaround from a 1-4 start to what we're doing right now. And that is the coaches getting them back together in the right place. So, yeah, Darko's a fantastic coach. I'll stand up for him every single time. And credit to Darko on the nice balance last night. I'm with you. I'm with you, Monique. I'm totally with you on that. Stargate saying this, all due respect to Bobby Webster, but this current team makeup has Masai Ujiri written all over it. And I mean from to the front to bottom, top to bottom, from the head coach right down to the last player on the bench. Listen, I in some ways don't feel like we need to diss either one of them. I want to say this right now. The spirit of Ujiri will live on through this team forever because he set a culture, and a culture is a different thing than being a GM. You know, GMs could come in and do the transactions and just be in the job, but there's something different about what Masai did for us in the years that he was around our team. He built an identity. He built a culture. He built this team up to We the North and what we stand for. And that's quality that I was talking about earlier, and the reason why we outclassed the Hawks organization last night in 2 separate games. It's just something. And like, Bobby Webster was the right-hand man of Masai. He worked with him for 12 years. So it's like, once again, Ujiri lives on our team through Webster still. And I don't like separating them or trying to figure out who takes credit, because they really were a team. And a lot of the successes in our front office and what they've done has been Ujiri and Webster. And it's really hard to kind of pick apart who gets credit for which and what. You know what I'm saying? So in some ways, I would say yes. Ujiri's fingerprints are all over this team, still nameless, for sure. And it's rightfully so. But he's going to have his fingerprints all over this franchise forever now, because he changed it. And it's different than the average front office executive. It's very, very different. In some ways, Masai Ujiri's impact on the Toronto Raptors is similar to Red Auerbach's impact on the Boston Celtics. And there's just something to it like that. And it won't ever go away as long as we honor him. And in some ways, you know, Bobby being here is an extension of that. So I don't like busting it up. It's kind of like a writing partnership in music. If you have a Lennon-McCartney song, you know, they wrote that song together. And there's nobody you're taking more credit for between Lennon and McCartney on some of the Beatles songs that they wrote. You know, it's a Ujiri and Webster collaboration. And I don't like to pick apart who did what or how is this different. You know, I think it's so ridiculous. The questions the press has asked Bobby Webster since Ujiri was dismissed, wrongfully so, Keith Phely, you fuckface, and Ed Rogers, you pieces of shit. I think it's laughable when people come to Bobby Webster and say, how is this different for you without Masai? It's like, look, he's been doing this job for a long time already. And it's not like this is a total like night and day change. In some ways, a lot of what Bobby Webster's doing is what he would be doing with Masai was still here. And it's not much different. It's not like Bobby Webster has dramatically changed who he is or what he does for the Raptors just because Ujiri's gone. So I think it's kind of ridiculous, the whole idea of like, this is a totally different era than what we just had with Masai. I think it's the same era because it's the same GM. And it's just that the president that was above all this is gone, but his direction is honored and still carried on. How about that? How about that? That's what I say right there. That's what I say right there. Neil's saying this, there's only one ball. Okay. All right. The Lonzo or LaMelo. Let's see. Stargate saying this, and it's evident that Colin Murray-Boyles is a Masai choice. I know people think he wanted Common because of the African connection, but CMB is such a Masai type player. It's quite clear that that was his pick. Well, he was still on the job when he picked that. When they picked that job, he was still working for us. I mean, I don't know if this is true though, because it does seem like he was a lame duck president at that point. The writing was on the wall, and he was going to get dismissed the day after Colin got drafted. You know, that's what they said. They let him stay on up until the draft, and then that was it. They had planned that. And you may be very well right that Masai had a big part in drafting Colin Murray-Boyles. But in some ways, I also see an energy where it's like he's not really going to be in charge, and we know this. And in some ways, it's all ceremonial that he's still around for the draft, and it's just to not have a distraction before it. And I think that there's a couple of reasons why. I'm sure he signed off on Colin at that night as ceremonially and said, yeah, guys, this is a great pick in some ways. If Rich Paul's not going to let us get Colin Malawak, then we might as well get Colin here. Yeah, I think that's kind of how it went down in some ways. Michael's saying RJ hometown kid Barrett. That's right. I love that. I value that. I know that not everybody in Raptors Nation respects or values RJ being from Toronto and being a hometown hero for our team. But the intangibles of RJ and how much he's willing to sacrifice and go far for our team because of the emotions, because he's a Raptors fan as a kid, because he went to Scotiabank Arena as a kid and watched DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry play when he was a kid. These are important things that shouldn't be poo-pooed, and they should not be disregarded. These are things that matter because in some ways this is part of the heart and why he does it. And it's just a beautiful thing, Michael. It's such a beautiful thing. Yeah, let's crush Philly. I'm with you, Mo. I'm with you on that. I'm over 2 hours at this point. I'm going to keep going. I got a lot to slog through, 2 reactions and a preview today. And that is big time right there. Yeah. That is big time. Let's see. Wayne's here. Good to see Wayne Strainer, the sergeant in arms of the Raptor Freak family. Morning, Raptor Freaks. Both our units look good. Lapses and not scoring is due to shot selection and sticky fingers. Colin Murray Boyles, when playing with Shed, has to always be moving. Shed is getting a championship. Shed is a winner. Shed is a winner, and that's why we love having him on our team. In some ways, Shed is more set up to get an NBA championship than Trae Young. I'll say that. Neil's saying this. You're right, Mo. Crush him. That's right. Let's crush him. Crush Groove. Crush Groove. That's right, Curtis Blow. That's right. Crush him. That's right. Crushing, like the Fat Boys. Crushing. Yeah. Yeah. Stargate saying Jacoby looked like he was under the weather. He did look like that. He did look like he wasn't 100% physically. Like he didn't have that extra zest to his movement and how he's kind of running around and doing everything. He did seem like there was something wrong. I totally catch that too. I think he's sick. I believe he, like Scotty, is asthmatic. Asthmatic? Asthma? I didn't know Scotty has asthma. I don't think that's right. So yeah, I don't know if that's right. Wayne's saying this. Grady on the fast breaks, I noticed refuses to pass the ball to teammates when possible. He needs to stop being a knucklehead in those situations. In the tight game, those are win-lose plays. I think in general, I don't want to point out anybody in particular on this team because I think they're all guilty of this. That there's just needs to be better discussions about how advantage fast breaks should be going. This is something in the old NBA that this was a sign of like you're a good team. And if you have an advantage, you need to score on a 2-on-1 or a 3-on-2. And if you don't score on those, something's wrong. You should be able to figure that out where you're beating a man advantage on a fast break. And the Raptors have been horrible at this the last couple of years, which is weird because it is something that you can kind of tidy up like a free throw percentage. You can tidy this up. I feel like they need to do better drills. Or maybe Darko and the coaches need to go over the protocol about how to play the fast break with a man advantage to make sure that we have the best success in converting. Once again, this is execution. This is an execution thing that the Raptors are not doing as well as they could in an area where they will improve as the season goes on, and hopefully we'll see better. Yeah, we could say Grady. We could say IQ. We could say a couple different people that go at the basket and just try and strong arm it to there. RJ and Scotty have more success taking the brunt of the physicality on a fast break and finishing. But some of those other guys are not going to be able to do that. And they may need to do the little drop behind pass or the extra pass to the next guy as they draw the defensive attention going at the basket. So, yeah, I agree with this to a degree, but I don't want to single out one individual. I think that a lot of the Raptors are guilty of this, a lot of them. And Emmanuel and Grady may be the most. Let's just say that. Neil's saying this. I'll give credit to the Hawks for understanding this was a defensive game and they had to up theirs to compete with us. It wasn't enough, but it helped to let us know to not play with our food. Woof, woof. Yeah, we figured it out. We ironed it out. Every NBA game is a different challenge, and you don't necessarily know what the challenge is going in. You see how the game develops and what you're going through and who's playing what level and who's, somebody's hot on the other side. And you adjust. And that's the whole thing. It's a puzzle in the middle of the game. And Darko and the coaches with the team are trying to solve the puzzle. And in some ways, they figured out that puzzle in the third quarter and busted it open. And that went towards winning. But there was no guarantee they were going to figure it out by the time they end the game. And that's something that some people on this channel were very happy after the game saying. It's like, I'm so glad they figured it out and got the game on our side by the end of the game. And much to the dismay of Quinn Snyder. which was awesome, man. Which was awesome. Yeah. Yeah, let's keep going. Stargate saying, I'm not a fan of Emiratis either, but if I get the chance to fly their A380 first class, heck, I'm going. I mean, traveling in my own private suite. It's just a weird place, Dubai. It's just a weird place, man. It's a weird place. I don't know. I don't want to talk about this too much. I've kind of said my spiel on this at this point. Wayne saying this, Elijah Martin looked good. His shooting was spot on and overall presence was dominating. I'm a big fan and I prefer his aggression to Oshai's casualness. Time will tell. But once again, it's not an individual player versus player kind of thing. This is not how they're going into the deciding things. If it's like you're saying, oh, we should get rid of Oshai because we can grow Elijah up. I'm not with that. I'm not with that, Wayne. I agree with you on a lot of things. Oshai's a much better NBA player. He's much more useful than Elijah still right now. Even if he's not in the rotation or he didn't play last night, let's not get it twisted. Ochai Agbaji is a bona fide two-way player to an extent right now. And Elijah Martin hasn't done jack shit. He hasn't even played a minute in the NBA yet. So let's not get ahead of ourselves here. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Ochai may very well be traded this year. And some of the signs of him not being in the games recently is kind of pointing to that direction. That it could very well be that we see Agbaji traded at the trade deadline. And I've kind of speculated that since the summer. Because in some ways, he's the guy who's valuable to other teams that we could get something good for. And that he's also, in some ways, it's like, I don't know. In some ways, also, I go back and forth. I'm like, he's the most dependable, though, and he's very useful for our team. And I would kind of like to continue to have him in the fold. It's tough. Bobby's got some tough decisions this year. He really does have some tough decisions to deal with right here. Neil saying this, the push for Ja in Toronto is because they want to rehabilitate him, not for how Toronto can benefit. It's a one-way agenda. Yeah, fuck that. We don't need to take his head case and try and straighten him out. We have no onus on that. It's none of our responsibility. That's been Memphis's responsibility and Ja himself's responsibility. We don't need to bail him out, and we don't need to degrade our team to try and help him. Like, why the fuck what do we owe him to do that? We don't need to do that, is what I'm saying. They was saying, oh, we definitely don't want Ja. I'm with you 1,000%. Okay, so you were just being sarcastic? I'm not totally sure. What he was saying earlier was confusing me, man. No Ja. See, Michael's got it. He's got it. That's right. Stargate saying, these casuals who are pushing so hard for Ja Morant on the Raptors don't want the Raptors to win. All they want to be is entertained and see how high-flying dunks on ESPN, not wins. Well, if they're Raptors fans, they're misguided if they just want to see dunks and not winning. If they're not Raptors fans, they're trying to sabotage our team. And that's why they're making all these Bill Simmons with his laughable trade that we went over yesterday, where Trae Young would go to Memphis. We would get Ja Morant, and we'd be trading Emmanuel Quickley and Colin Murray Boyles to Atlanta. Like, why the fuck would we do that, Bill Simmons? First of all, you're a Celtics fan. And why the fuck would we take any advice from you? You don't have any kind of want for the Raptors to be successful as a division rival. So why the fuck would we listen to Bill Simmons' podcast, Raptors fans, and take anything that he fucking says with any weight? Seriously, why would we listen to him? We ain't got no reason to listen to Bill Simmons tell us on our business how we should be doing things. Seriously, that's exactly what's said here. He wants to monkey wrench our team by sending an idiot like Ja Morant, who's just wasting his life, honestly. Ja Morant, you're wasting your life, bro. You're wasting your life. Stargate saying, I can't comprehend why any smart, intelligent, astute basketball Raptors fan would even remotely consider wanting Ja Morant here. Pretty highlights on ESPN don't win you games. Mm-hmm. Yep, all that right there. Kaloy's here. Hey, Masai and Bobby, look at what you've done. Created a three-headed monster with 7 players in double digits. Yeah, that's a nice Hydra. The Barnes, Barrett, and Brandon Hydra, triple Bs. Look out. That's a tough Hydra to deal with right now. Neil saying Embiid is on load management. He will play hopping style for limited minutes. Flopping style for limited minutes. All right, so we'll see whether Embiid's playing or not tonight. We'll have to go and check on the latest news from people like Blake Murphy and Josh Lundberg and Doug Smith, and they'll probably let us know who's available and who isn't. That's right. Trevor J saying we are 1 game over 500. I love that. Let's stay over that and keep going up. Let's do it tonight and get 600. That's right. G saying players that have always been great and coddled cannot take constructive criticism. Players like Giannis with a much harder journey to the NBA, or like Shea, who was cut from his grade 9 team and came off. the bench for most of his first 2 months in college understand how to get better through constructive criticism and work. This is so true. And Grady talked about this last night in his post game. The team has been very hard on Grady, apparently, in the recent weeks with his defense. He said it straight up in his interview after. He said, I haven't been as good on defense in some ways, and Garrett Temple has read me the riot act. Seriously. He said that straight up. He said that some of the leaders on our team have been very mean to me and talking to me about being accountable for what I'm supposed to be doing on the team. I could crumble, is what he said. I could crumble and take it to heart and start getting in my own feelings, but they have the best interest in me. In some ways, it's not listening to the way it was said. It's the message that what they're saying. And that's what Grady's doing. In some ways, these guys have been very hard on Grady, apparently, is what he's saying. And they weren't very nice in how they said it. He said, you got to fucking do better than shit like that. And Grady's like, yeah, you're right. Instead of getting all butthurt that somebody maybe said, talk to him in his harsh way, Grady's taking it in stride and saying, you know what? I'm going to take the message, maybe not the way you said it, because in some ways it was kind of mean, but in some ways I'm a pro, and in some ways I'm a big boy. I'm not a little kid. I'm not going to get sad and start crying because you hurt my feelings, Garrett Temple. No. In some ways, that's the right attitude. That's a pro. And in some ways, that shows a young man who's in the NBA who can take constructive criticism, even if it's not totally friendly, and get something out of it. You know, is John Morant going to let Garrett Temple yell at him for 10 minutes about how he's fucking up on defense? No, he probably wouldn't. You say, oh, head, you can't do what I do, so shut the fuck up. I don't respect you. That's probably likely. And that's why you don't want somebody like that in your locker room, because that's not the right kind of role model. And you can wonder why things are all fucked up in Memphis. Seriously. Grady said it straight up. They've been very mean to me about my defense and hold me accountable, but I'm just choosing to look at the lesson and the message, and not necessarily that they've been yelling at me. It came off like that yesterday. It was really crazy when he said that, man. It was really crazy. Kareem saying Shamshe is a man of integrity and morals. He won't leave Toronto, Mississauga until his lease is up in his condo. Expect Arish to be around until 2023, 2029. That's crazy, Kareem. All right, you're getting a dunk, man. This is why he's the dunk champ, because he can put together a little dumb little joke right there. You think he's still hanging around because his lease is still valid in Mississauga? That's why he's still here. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. That's genius. 260 for the dunk champ, Kareem Thomas. That's why he does what he does. I don't want to believe that. I want to believe that he's still in with us and he sees himself as a Raptor and he's going to stick around. That's what I'm hoping. Maybe they clear him and all of a sudden we make things happen and all of a sudden he is back on the Raptors. I hope that's the case. Because seriously, I don't want to lose the project that Ulrich Shamshe is. He's going to be good. And I want him to be here and not like Christian on the Lakers. Fuck that shit, man. Fuck that. Neil's saying this. They said the rule is the ball must clear the net to be counted. That is why AJ didn't get the bucket. Warning to players, too much pizzazz can screw you. It was just a fluke. It was like something I don't ever see in basketball. He dunked it in a certain way, and it wrapped into the net, and then it carooned and came back out, and it didn't go all the way through the net. It's crazy. It's such a weird play, man. Seymour saying all the way from Sparwood, British Columbia. Wow, look at that. Seymour has made his trip to BC. He's driven his 4-hour trip to get to where he's going for this job interview. I wish him all the luck in the world, Seymour Pape, and what you're doing out there in British Columbia today. That's right. That's right. Wayne's saying this. Regarding A.J. Lawson's dunk, commentators said the rule is that the ball has to go through the net. Everyone says they never saw that before. Ball went up instead of through and got tangled with the rim. Yeah, it was very interesting. Very, very interesting. Some English on it or something. Some sort of like wrapped up. Maybe that net was a little too tight. Maybe that net needed to be a little more loose so it didn't catch the ball, you know? Something weird was happening there. Chloe's saying Saudi's buying U.S. culture by buying sports. They already bankroll major fights in boxing. Yeah, and they have the WWE over there. In some ways, I don't want to talk about this. I had my little spot with it, and we don't need to go further. Most saying W Stream, W Vibe, go Raptors for life. Keep at it always, Lex. Raptor Free Crew strong forever. Just helping me limit the comments. Let's keep climbing. I love that. I'm at 2.5 almost. I figured I'd go 3 hours today, honestly. So let me get to the next tab here. We're doing straight goods on Canadian goods. And you guys need mouthwash, right? You want to buy some Canadian mouthwash? Well, Green Beaver Company has you covered. Yeah, the Green Beaver Company is a fully Canadian-owned and operated company with manufacturing in Ontario using natural and organic Canadian ingredients whenever possible. So if you need to wash your mouth out, get that Green Beaver on your mouth. Yeah, I said that phrasing. Yeah, the Green Beaver Company, 100% Canadian. And you can swish all around with that Green Beaver mouthwash. I know. I left that open for interpretation because I thought it was juvenile. I thought it was kind of funny that there was a mouthwash company called Green Beaver. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Let's keep moving. All right. Let's see. Darko was right. We not happy for IQ. This is what we expect from him. I didn't see the game, but watched Darko's press conference. Yeah. In some ways, it's like, look, he hates the over spotlight on IQ right now. Whether it's our fans on social media, whether it's the media in the Strom, they're just asking all these questions about Emmanuel's this, Emmanuel's that. And Darko's like, why are you pointing him out? Why are you singling him out so much? He's just like all the other guys on the team. He just didn't make as many shots. It's just really calling out the telescope, like the microscope that sometimes players get put under. That's just not necessary. And I think that in some ways, IQ and Darko and the team are just rising above it. Because in some ways, they're not listening to it. It's not their reality. And in some ways, there's a difference in reality. It clashes when Darko talks to the press. And they try to bring their reality to Darko. And Darko's like, no, denial. Get that garbage out of here, Jack Armstrong. We are not doing this. And we don't look at this the same way as y'all. We are not like you. You are not like us. That's a part of it right there. Let's see. Wayne's saying this. Oh, wait. Seymour said pancakes, maple syrup, turkey bacon, and fried down spinach with tomatoes and onions and breakfast of champions. Is that what you're eating out of BC? You're already off to a good start there. Wayne's saying IQ hitting his shots even at 50% is a problem for opponents. His defensive deficiencies hurt us, so he's going to score to mitigate his game. I don't know how much he's actually hurting us at this point, though. I think that he's fine. I think that his defensive energy has been really good. He's not going to win every time. Scotty said this in his interview the other day. We're going to get beat sometimes. We're all going to get beat from time to time. That's just the NBA. It's about how often we get beat. And if we can shore up not get beat more than they get beat, you know? But yeah, it's going to happen. Scotty's going to lose to Evan Mobley sometimes on certain trips down the court. And Giannis, you know, he's not going to be perfect. And in some ways, we have to allow that for everybody on the team. And Emmanuel may not be well known for his defense, but he's definitely putting in more effort, and he is better defensively this year than he was last year. So I want to give him some credit here. I really do. Yeah, 100%. Okay, King's here. Y'all check out To The Point, T.O. The Point, and let's see what he's saying this morning. Let's see. What's up, Freak Nation? Hope y'all are enjoying the 4-game win streak. Let's make it tonight. Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. And he's doing his live stream again. If you guys want to watch the live stream with Brian, I'll let you plug your show here, I guess, Brian. You go ahead. All right, let's keep going. Let's see. Nins is saying this out of Philly. Morning, Raptor Freak crew. Won't be at the game today, but my Raptor spirit will echo in the stadium. That's right. He's our guy on the ground in Philly. Our Philadelphia Raptor Freak, Nins, is our admin for the channel and also for our Discord server. And he did go to the Philly game last year in Philadelphia for the Raptors, and he sat right behind their Raptors bench and helped us get that victory in that game. That was a sweet game too. Nins was over there like Nab Bhatia in the playoffs and enjoying winning the win in the enemy arena, even though he's a Philadelphia guy. So yeah, he's not going to be at the game today, but I know in spirit he'll be down there. That's right. Shaq Lindsay's here. Thank you guys for supporting the channel, by the way. When have you ever seen a team superstar just cost not have a great game? The team on a whole start off slow and just put up punishing hits and win the game. Atlanta studied, did their homework, and still failed the exam. Damn. Yeah, Quinn Snyder had a game plan and it was working in the first half. But I think that this just shows flaws in the roster build to a degree. The Raptors are a very complete team in certain ways right now. And the Hawks are somewhat deficient in certain roles on their team right now. As I said, I've heard Hawks fans describing their team as very talented and athletic, but they're aimless and not really directed right. And in some ways, you can have athletes that are very good, talented players, but if they're not basketball savvy or basketball smart, there's a problem. You know, there's an interview with Zachary Rizache during the game last night that I happened to catch, and he's kind of I don't want to call him dumb, but in some ways, there's some things he's just not registering in certain ways. It may be a lost in translation as a French guy and him speaking English, But I'm like, this guy is not on the level of expertise or smarts like our point guards, Emmanuel Quickley and Jamal Shed. This guy's kind of dumb, and that may be part of it. Is that they've got a lot of very athletic, long athletes, but maybe they're lacking some of the other stuff, basketball smarts on the Hawks. I think that's a big problem right there for them. I think that's a big problem right there. That's right. Shaq Lindsay's getting a laugh. Power's back. Good to see Power 35. Thank you for supporting this channel. BI has changed this team so much positively. We now have a winning record now because of his presence. It's actually incredible to witness. I was expecting this because he is like that. You know, it's so dumb that just because we got him at the trade deadline last year and he sat out injured for the last half of the season, that nobody actually gave credit. And Darko called this out in the middle of summer and said, nobody's paying attention to the fact that we've added Brandon Ingram and how much of an uptick and a needle pusher that will be for the Raptors this year. Well, they're seeing it now. And in some ways, ESPN and other people don't know how to deal with it. They say, oh, it's technically not a new player for them because they got him the half season. Well, he is a new player for us because he didn't play for us until this year. And they need to come correct with this and say, look, Brandon Ingram has been a huge addition to the Toronto Raptors, just like Power just said. And the rest of the NBA is not giving full credit for this. They really, really aren't. And they will have to by the end of the season. There will be no denying it because they'll have to look at it and see it because of the results. So, yeah, go ahead and keep sleeping on this NBA. Go ahead and don't pay attention to the Raptors. We're like that submarine underwater. We're coming, and you ain't seeing us, and we're going to come up out of the water all of a sudden. It's going to be too late because we're going to sneak up on y'all. That's the one advantage of them disrespecting us and not giving us our due credit is that we can do things on the down low, hidden, and then all of a sudden we surprise them. Because this is part of the whole thing that's so stupid about them is they disregard us and disrespect us, and then we come around and we show something, and then they're all of a sudden like, wow, I don't understand how the Raptors did this. How did they do this all of a sudden? We've been telling you the whole time, motherfucker. It's just you're in your ears going, no, I don't want to believe the Raptors are good. I don't want to believe the Raptors are good. And then they are. And then you're like, holy shit, we got to give Darko the coach of the year. Seriously, this could happen this year. I'm fully predicting Darko Rajakovic will be a top 3 candidate for coach of the year this year because of the turnaround the Raptors are about to show and their record and how they do this year. I'm telling you right now, it's coming. And BI is a big part of it. Give credit to Ingram for sure. Neil's saying this, Elijah doesn't have the length that Oshai has. Exactly. I'll say that right now. But players will always have something that makes them stand out. There's a heart. There's a intangible of a winner in Elijah Martin. I know that. And in some ways, I want to see that more and more on the 905 level. If it shows its face on the Raptors level, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. We'll just have to see. Take it moment by moment. But to me, right now, the more promising prospect going forward is Hepburn. Hepburn, in some ways, has got a direct line to be a full-time Raptor down the road. I really do see this. Colin Murray-Boyles is untouchable. I agree with this. I believe that he has got a lot coming to him in the future. That's right. Shaq Lindsay saying this. I love Dick. Okay, pause. I love Dick on the Raptors. I mean, I love Dick's contribution off the bench. Okay, yeah, pause. Pause. Grady's an investment. We want to keep him going successfully, so we have to water the plant and say, yeah, here, Grady, here's minutes, here's shots, and we want to keep him going. In some ways, he has the right attitude. He's coming to practice, learning, and staying positive, even if he's not totally success. That right now, you know, Leafs here. Leafs guy is here again. He's saying, I want to go to the game tomorrow so badly, but I'm busy. Oh, it's too bad. You can't make it to Mississauga tomorrow. Yeah, once again, tomorrow, we're going to the game as a channel. If anybody wants to come and go to the game with us, you're welcome. See you at the box office. Paramount 5 Food Center, Mississauga, Ontario, Raptors 905, College Park Skyhawks. And yeah, we're going. And if you want to come, you're welcome to come see. You'll see me. You can see me. You see my face. I'll be there. You'll see me. I'll be there. That's right. Let's see. Shaq Lindsay's saying that's what we want from Dick. Okay. Yes. Just pause. Let's see. Fuck. That sounds like so much fun. Yeah. It'd be fun to see if Shamshay's there again tomorrow. And I will try and talk to him. Maybe I'll get a picture with him. You know, maybe I'll have a little heart to heart with him. I say, Shamshay, my name is the Raptor Streak. My name is Lex. I've been talking about y'all a lot in the morning for a long, long time. And I just have a little bit of advice for you real quick. And if I can get one moment with him where I could just talk to him for a second, maybe I could find out a little bit more about the stupid fitness to play problem that has to do with him right now. I don't know. Either way, I want to go see if Ulrich is there tomorrow because he could very well be there once again, guys. In fact, I'll bet she might be. Seriously. Wayne's saying this. Oshai, Walter, Mobo, Martin, Chucky. We have very good problems. I'm taking Martin under my personal umbrella. Grady is an adult, and that report means he's going to have an awesome season. Maturity. Yeah. He's taking their criticism head on, and he's listening to it. He's not disregarding it and getting in his feelings, and that's good. Yeah, we have good problems. We have a lot of good players, and we have to figure out how we're going to make it all work in some ways because we have so much talent. That's a good problem to have. That's a good problem. Chris comes here. Hawks suck. Still a closer have without Trey. Yeah. Leaf fans saying, can you guys live stream tomorrow so I can watch afterwards? You can watch the game on YouTube for free. All the Raptors 905 games are on YouTube. You just got to go to the Raptors 905 official website. They'll give you a link. It's a secret link that only Canadians can go to. If you live in Canada, you can do this. If you're in the States, you can't, unfortunately. So, yeah, it's a regional thing where all Raptors 905 games are on YouTube for free, streaming. So you can find it there, Leafs fan. You can find it there. Yeah, you can find it there. Let's see. Hang on. Let me see. I would have totally been decked out in the Leafs gear if I went just to troll. Leafs will always be first for me, but I also love the Raptors. Well, I mean, listen, I'm trying to make allowances. And in some ways, you're teaching me to be better to Leafs Nation to a degree in some ways. And that's good. That's good. I want to grow as a person. And, I don't want to just come down on people because they're Leaf fans. In some ways, we're partnership and MLSE. And I should be open to Leafs Nation. I should be. That's right. Let's see. Seymour saying, we know. Thanks. Neil saying this. The IQ scrutiny is because of his salary. Apparently, people feel sympathetic to Uncle Eddie in his deep pockets. Fuck him. Yeah, I don't know what the problem is. Emmanuel's salary is going to look good in the next couple of years. I'm telling you right now, it's a good rate that he's at. It's just that y'all don't think he is because you don't understand. And down the road, you will. You will. Trust me. You'll see how things change with the money from the new TV deals and how some of the salaries are going to look really crazy. And Emmanuel's going to be on a good deal in like 2 or 3 years. Watch. People will be like, oh, okay, now this is way better. This is way better. In some ways, we got that deal done at that level at that time because we know some of the prices are going up for people around the league. Because in some ways, there is money being infused into the league with the new media deals. And, the money's going to be a little bit different coming up. And Emmanuel's deal may age really, really well. Trust me. You guys will see it. Leafs fans saying Darko's an elite coach, and it would be nice for him to win Coach of the Year. Yeah, it'd be part of the tradition. He would be the 4th ever Coach of the Year in the Raptors history. And that would be cool to put him in that category with Sam Mitchell, who was calling the game last night with Matt and Jack, Dwayne Casey, who in my book is the guy who's the greatest Raptors coach ever so far. Yeah, I said that. And Nick Nurse, of course, won Coach of the Year too. But what is that as a testament to the Raptors? If we say this, guys, think about this. If Darko wins Coach of the Year this year, that means the last 4 people that have coached the Raptors, the last 4, have all won Coach of the Year because they've ran right into each other. Sam Mitchell became Dwayne Casey, I believe. Is that right? Or no, was Jay Triano in the middle there? I want to say that Mitchell switched to Casey, but maybe I'm wrong. But either way, having 3 Coaches of the Year in order from Dwayne Casey, Nick Nurse into Darko would be very impressive because that means that the Raptors have hired 3 Coach of the Years in a row, and we're not fucking around with making the wrong decision on coaches. Like Phoenix Suns. Phoenix Suns. They change their coach every year, it seemed like, for a while there. Yeah, it's crazy. Wayne saying this, caught a couple minutes of the Kings versus the Thunder. Kings don't play defense apart from Dennis Schroeder. Wanted to see Precious. He didn't play. Interesting stuff there. I know the Thunder won that game. Power saying Raptors will definitely make the playoffs if we stay healthy, and there's a huge probability the coach Darko will win Coach of the Year. He's going to have a lot of look at him, seriously, especially if we're one of the top Eastern teams. And, honestly, I think we could do something this year, even into the playoffs. Seriously, we got to do all this. Win the in-season tournament. Why not? Let's do that, too. Seymour saying, it's weird. The Kings waived Isaac Jones, who balled out in the Summer League. And he got picked up immediately. I think the Pacers picked him up or somebody out east picked him up. But, yeah, I thought that was weird, too. They needed to make room for Precious. So basically, they cut Isaac Jones to get Precious Achiuwa. is basically what they did there. Let's see. Neil's saying Brandon takes us from a play-in to a playoff team. That's why I said we will win 48 plus games in the regular season. The East is open. Don't play with your food. Yep. All that is accurate. See, we're saying don't play with your food is right. That's right. We just need to win. We just need to win and not play down to teams that we go up against. We play the Brooklyn Nets on the road next week. We don't need to be slumming it with them. We don't need to be playing to their level. We need to play a high level excellence and rout their asses. Play to our best ability. That's right. Advice for Shamshay, drop clutch. You might need them for right now in the middle of this limbo for sure. It'd be good to have Rich Paul representing him just to kind of fight for him. But if Rich Paul's telling him he needs to go to the Miami Heat or something like that, well, fuck you, Rich Paul. We'll just have to see. It's a really good thing that Shamshay was in Mississauga last night. Really, really good thing. Seymour saying, I like them both, Wayne. Said only time will tell. Yeah, the decisions Bobby Webster's got to make for our roster, well, they're tough ones, and he's going to make them at some point. We'll see. Neil's saying the Americans have their own link to watch G League games. No, they don't. They don't. They put the games down there on things like Roku, or some of the teams actually are just on TV. It's a special arrangement for us up in Canada because in some ways they don't really have broadcasting deal for the G League here in Canada. And that's why they put us on for free because they want the fans to have access to watch them. And down south, they have different arrangements figured out. But no, I don't think they watch it on YouTube down there. We get to up here, though. We do up here, though. Yeah. Let's see. What up, freaks? Hey, it's my brother, guys. Hey, Carl, thanks for supporting the channel. It's my little brother, Carl, who's in Atlanta. They had the game last night. I was hoping you guys would go, but I get it. You guys are very busy, and there's all kinds of stuff going on with my nephew and my niece and different things. So I was hoping my dad, my brother, and my nephew would show up and go to the game last night because it would have been a fun one to go to. But yeah, I know you guys are busy, but I always love you, Carl. And I'm so happy to see you in the chat this morning. Thanks for checking in on us real quick and seeing what's going on here, man. Yeah. You're saying, we just freaking, okay. And James is saying quickly shooting is much needed in the starting lineup when it's hard to drive against good defenses. He just adds a whole other dimension of weapon that when he is on, they have to respect, just like Jakob is on, they have to respect that. And you think about the three-headed Hydra we're talking about, they already have to worry about so many nightmares with Barnes, Barrett, and Brandon. Those three guys are just a nightmare each. So it really is like our starting five is one of the best starting fives in the league as Jakob is healthy and IQ is playing better. Oh, yeah. That was a comment earlier that's exactly right when somebody said that. Exactly right. Yeah. Neil saying this IQ has been consistent over the last 2 games. Look at the Bucks game and yesterday. He's more scrappy and getting steals. There's only one ball. Understand the game, people. Yeah, and I like that he's pivoting more towards traditional point guard and getting a lot of balance with his scoring with assists. Because in some ways, that's the assignment for him right now, is that you've got these guys on your team with you, Brandon and RJ. You need to be feeding them. And assisted turnover ratio and field goal percentage for our team are some of the things that people should be gauging a manual for. Is that we're shooting a high percentage. We're shooting like 54% as a team. Well, that's a testament to our point guards and IQ and Shed and setting up guys with high percentage shots where they're being successful. And that's a beautiful thing right there. That's right. Where's the IQ shit talkers now? That's right, Monique. That's right. Where the fuck are these IQ shit talkers at this point? Seriously, where are they? That's right. That's right. All right, let me keep going with my tabs. Y'all check on your fantasy teams. We got today and tomorrow for this week, the 3rd week of our fantasy league. You want to be 3-0. You want to win this week. You better set your lineup. That's what I'm saying right there. That's right. All right, let's do the Instagram stories. First, they did a community event with the Toronto Tempo and Sandy Brondello. She went down to one of the community centers in Toronto and did a little mini camp with some young girls in the community. And that's fantastic. It looks like Sandy really enjoyed it. She has just the biggest smile on her face. And it just seems like she's like very genuinely enjoying this new chapter she's just embarking on. And seeing the joy of kids and being a part of a workshop like that where she can coach kids directly like that, that's probably really rewarding to her. And, it's kind of fun, too, because she's going to come up to these young women and say, you know what? I'm the new head coach of the Toronto Tempo. I'm the first ever head coach for the Toronto Tempo. And in some ways, she's a very cool role model for all the young girls that she was involved in talking to. Dropping knowledge. There you go. Coach Sandy dropping knowledge is Teresa Resch's post there. And then she's got a cutout of Lily. Wasn't there, Lily Singh. So they got a cutout of her, and they're taking pictures of her. Her and Whitney are standing there with Lily, but it's not really Lily. Slim Duck is saying, got to ask yourself the question. What is the question? Where are you now? Okay, Chris, where are we? I'm on my show. Got to ask yourself the question, huh? Where are you now? I don't know. Do we ask ourselves every couple seconds this? What's going on here? Really sorry now. They weren't to know. They got caught up in your talent show. Oh, this is his song. It's James Blunt. Okay, he's putting James Blunt comments on there. There's him getting dapped with a guy wearing a Jason Tatum jersey. It just seems weird to see Chris in Celtics green. In some ways, he's just a good dude. We love you, Chris, man. Forever a Raptors champion and forever a Canadian great in the NBA world. That's right. We love you, Chris. We always love you, even if you're wearing Celtics. Garrett Temple is cooking some food with Kara Temple, and their eating clean isn't always easy, but they do that. And getting out to run in the morning isn't always easy, but the Temples are doing that. They get up at 5 a.m. and they do their runs in the morning. That couple, Kara and Garrett. I love them. Couple goals. Temples. Yeah, couple goals. RJ Barrett on that nice red Atlanta Hawks court. Grady was asked about the court last night. He's like, is the court annoying? Is it too distracting? Because I know people watching the game felt like that really red ass Hawks court was so red. It's kind of distracting. But Grady said, no, we love it, man. It's cool. It's different because NBA courts, we get used to them, but playing on that all red court, no, it was cool, man. And he also doubled down and said, I can't wait to play on our court here in Toronto. Like it's cool. I like it. I like coming up and playing on these in-season tournament courts because they're special and they're different. So Grady's a big fan of them. I think that the reporter was fishing for him to say something negative about the in-season tournament courts. But Grady was like, no, man, they're cool. I like them. That's pretty cool. It's Kelly Olynyk playing on an in-season tournament court last night. I think he finally made his debut for the Spurs in recent games. Good to see Kelly's back and healthy and able to contribute to help the Spurs. And, of course, they did beat the Rockets in their IST game last night. So pretty cool to see Kelly back out there. Serge Ibaka is in a suit looking James Bond. And he's dancing, singing his song. And he's also at the NBA Players Association in the Sanctuary in New York City. So where in the world is Serge Ibaka? He's in New York at the Players Association Sanctuary putting up shots and waiting for an NBA team to call. Lindsey Dunn interviewing Elijah Martin at halftime during the game yesterday, talking about what they were doing right because he had a really big first half. And that was cool. Elijah came out there and he professed the Raptors 905 are all about winning and staying together as a team and doing the right things. That's right. That's what he was talking about. But yeah, a couple of his highlights on his Instagram. Of course, 3 for 3 from 3-point for Elijah right at the start of the game. Like I said, man, the clock on there after he did it, it was only 8 minutes on the clock still. So he did that in the first 4 minutes of the game. He hit 3 threes really fast. So Elijah, you helped us get that big lead right away in the game last night. We didn't look back. 36-point victory. Amazing stuff. Coach Andrew Jones, big smile on his Instagram. And there it is, the ceremony in the back where he gave the chain to Chucky Hepburn. He said it's because of the assists and the steals. And yeah, Chucky, you get the chain. The 30th anniversary chain is around your shoulders at this time. That's pretty cool. I like that. So yeah, Andrew Jones, gonna have a good tape session today, maybe a little practice. And well, we'll see you tomorrow, Coach. And hopefully we'll see another 905 victory over the College Park Skyhawks. Their team is really bad. The College Park Skyhawks are really bad. Like, they're not good at all. AJ Lawson had a fan come up to him before the game at Paramount Fine Food Center yesterday wearing an AJ Lawson basketball camp shirt. And in some ways, AJ was like, oh, hell yeah, I got to give you an autograph and talk to you, kid, because you were at my basketball camp a couple months ago. So it's like, yeah, and that's a special bond. You could tell AJ was really kind of tickled because he's like, yeah, this is cool. This is a kid who came to my camp, and he's obviously a fan of mine because he wants to come get an autograph, and he's wearing the shirt from my camp. That's like a full circle kind of thing for AJ Lawson. I'm telling you right now, that is. Yeah, fantastic game by AJ, a plus 34 last night. Jamal Shedd's got some of the highlights from last night. There's a drive and a kick out to Sandro Mamu for 3. Yeah, beautiful stuff. Sandro and Jamal have been playing with each other a lot in lineups. And, Sandro was asked about that. He's like, he likes playing with Shed. Shed helps him a lot. So yeah, there's Shed coming out to the hotel to go to the game. And yeah, Mamu celebrating the games on his Instagram. That's that same play with Shed to him. He's posted it himself, and there he is coming out of the hotel. Jamal McClure has words of wisdom. He's saying the bond that links your true family is not one of blood, but of respect and joy in each other's lives. That's really hitting hard right there. I like that. I like that. Matt Devlin has some of the highlights from last night on his Instagram. Some good stuff there. Yeah, I guess the Instagram is the Instagram. There's Colin Murray Boyles from last night. Let's see. Coco Wade is showing some Giants of Africa footage of Jama talking to campers at Giants of Africa camp. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, I could go deeper on some of this stuff, but it's not that interesting, some of it here. But yeah, game day, we're going to play Philadelphia tonight. So be ready. No rest for the wicked. We got to go right into it for tonight too. That's right. That's right. Neil's saying this. I said it before. IQ shooting is what the team needs, and Grady's spot-up shooting is where he gets more success. We don't need much on this team. Just move the ball as we can defend and score. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we're just discovering stuff, scratching the surface. There's a lot more to come, and there's a lot more to come around Brandon. There's a lot more to come around Jakob and Emmanuel also. Scotty and RJ are playing at a pretty high level right now, but I think Scotty can play even better too. Happy birthday to Isaac Bonga. Former Raptor Isaac Bonga has turned 26 today. Of course, he's the German Isaac Bonga, playing alongside Dennis Schroeder, and such a success that Team Germany has had in recent years with Bonga and Schroeder. So yeah, happy birthday to former Raptor Isaac Bonga, who played for the Raptors in 15 games in one season. He averaged less than a point. But yeah, he is technically a Raptor. We remember Isaac. And, all his work with Dennis on Team Germany in the recent years is awesome. So happy birthday, 26th birthday, Isaac Bonga, who's a day younger than Delano Banton, which is weird. Very weird. Very weird. Excuse me, a little burpy. Wayne saying, ironic, IQ enjoyed his visit to Georgia this time. I understand Thanksgiving produces positive dopamine releases. I didn't even think about that because I'm in Canada and Thanksgiving was in October, but this was like Thanksgiving Thursday, wasn't it? Like this past Thursday, I didn't even know. I don't care. It's not Thanksgiving to me, Charlie Brown, because I live in Canada. But that's right. You're probably right that the Raptors hopefully were smart about their turkey intake, and they didn't get all bogged down with a crazy full gut, just crazy pigging out and eating too much. But this is probably true. They did probably do a Thanksgiving, although, they did travel on Thursday. They didn't travel on Wednesday. They left on Thursday, and they did a practice on Thursday morning, and then they flew on Thursday. So I don't know if exactly they did really do American Thanksgiving. So I can't say for sure, because Thursday was a travel day for the Raptors. They flew into Atlanta on Thursday, and they may have gotten in the evening, and they were on planes, or maybe they ate on the plane. Who knows? But yeah, I have no idea. I have no idea if they actually got a homemade Thanksgiving meal, or even if they cared, or if they did anything with it. They're all about business. They're not about leisure right now. They're at work. These are a work trip. This isn't a family trip. Scotty went back to Florida this summer and worked with Brian Macon on his shot and did a lot of family time in the summer. But they're on business. This is work time. Garrett Temple's wearing a suit when he comes to work right now. That's right. So yeah, I don't know if this is actually going on with them doing a big Thanksgiving. I don't see any evidence of it around the team and their social media. So yeah, all right, let's get that card out. And I appreciate my niece and nephew for giving me cards. And this is how we do it on this channel. Oh, this is weird. This is really weird. Holy crap. All right, guys. All right, awesome. Here we go. Full name answer. And get it quick, y'all. Full name answer. Can you tell who that is right there? It's pretty cool. Full name answer. The jersey says Oregon on it. It's kind of interesting. I thought it was a Cavs jersey, but it's a Portland Trailblazers jersey. That's right, James. That is our Stormin' Norman playoff Powell on a Portland Trailblazers card. I'll bring this card tomorrow. If somebody wants it, I'll have it at the Paramount 5 Food Center, and you can get a nice NBA Hoops Norman Powell card from me tomorrow. Look at that. James, good job, man. Good job. That's right. Of course, we better get Norman on the first shot. That's right. We better get Norman, a great Raptors champion from the 2019 championship team. Yeah, we love Norman, and his grind is in Miami at this point. It is what it is. All right, that's crazy. 2 Miami Heat in a row the last 2 days. Bam Adebayo yesterday, and now Norman today. Let's see. That was James, Raptor Freak James got it, and it's a 50. It's a 50 card. These have been easy cards recently, I've noticed. All right, that's the classic card, and I should be wrapping up very shortly right now. Yeah, just in time for 3 hours. Good job. All right, let me do the rundown once again on both all the things. First of all, the stars of the game from the games last night. For the 9:05 game, my 5 stars were AJ Lawson, Elijah Martin, Chucky Hepburn, Jonathan Mobo, and Tyson Degenhart. My 5 stars for the Raptors game: Brandon Ingram, Manuel Quickley, Jakob Poeltl, RJ Barrett, and Sandro Mamu. An honorable mention to Scotty and Grady Dick. Yeah. For the night, tonight, the Raptors are playing against the Philadelphia 76ers and Nick Nurse. No injuries on our report. I've heard that Jonathan Mobo is in Philadelphia to help with the bench for the Raptors tonight. He got called right back up, and he is with the Raptors in Philly tonight. Just so y'all know, that's Blake Murphy reporting that. But on the other side of things, Philadelphia, let's see what their injury report looks like right now. Paul George is out, and Dominic Barlow. So as it is right now, Joel Embiid is playing tonight against the Raptors. So let's just have a good effort and take it to the Sixers on their home court, and let's get our 5th game win in a row. Seriously, let's not fuck around with this. Let's be 600, 6-4 in our first 10 games. In some ways, I was kind of saying if we could be 6-4 after 10 games, that this is a very good start for the Raptors. And well, it's looking like we might be able to do that after a 4-game losing streak that we just had. All right, the referees for tonight's game. First of all, in the replay center, it's Brent Barnecki, Danielle Scott, and Leon Wood. And on the ground in Philadelphia, it'll be John Goebel as the crew chief. He favors the Raptors. Eric Dalen is the referee. He favors the Raptors. And Derek Collins is the umpire. He favors the Sixers. So, yeah, those are our refs tonight. It's an interesting ref crew. We really love Eric Dalen. John Goebel's pretty fair. And Derek Collins will be fair if we play hard. All right, y'all, just beat the Sixers. That's what I'm saying. We get to enjoy some more Raptors tonight, right away, in a back-to-back situation. They are off since Wednesday, so they have not been playing. So they've been resting on their laurels. Maybe that could actually be an advantage for us. Sometimes the Raptors play better on the second night of back-to-back for some reason in the last year or so. Also, tomorrow, 2 p.m., Paramount Fine Food Center. Come on down and go to the Raptors 9:05 game with me, G League action at the arena. Maybe we'll get to hang out with Shamshay. So, yeah, come on down about 1:15, 1:30. Tomorrow's stream's going to be very abbreviated. I'm not going to be trying to be doing no 3 hours. So if I would like to do the stream in an hour tomorrow, honestly, so I can get away and get to the game on time. So I will really be asking y'all to limit your comments. Now, I may just have a hard cutoff and get done. So when you come in tomorrow, make sure you get your comments in fast, because I'm not trying to be here longer than I have to, because I got to get on the road and drive, and there may be snow. That's the other thing I got to say. Yeah. Neil's saying Embiid is the king of flopping. Yeah. King of pain. He'll always be king of pain because he falls on his face. King of pain. Hurting Danny Green. King of pain. Timber. Joel Embiid's falling over. Yikes. Yeah, look out. If somebody can be at the game tonight spotting the tree that might fall down, that will be safer for everybody around. Yeah, you can fall all over the place. You better get a flopping fine. Joel Embiid. That's right. Let's go Raptors. Let's beat the Sixers. Let's beat Nick Nurse. Let's say hi to Kyle and say, hey, Kyle, we love you, but we're going to beat you still. And let's go Raptors. Let's get that 6th victory of the season. 5 in a row. Woo-wee! Let's go. All right, I'll see y'all tomorrow. Let's go Raptors. Let's go Raptors. Thanks for watching. Let's go.